Sun is rising, feel the warmth of my face. There's a lot to do now, but there ain't no race. I sip my coffee, I'm feeling fine. No need to work yet, I'm gonna take my time. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. Take a look out my window, see the birds in the trees. Their songs inspire me to sing a sweet melody. How do they do it? Not a care and so free. Wanna step into their world, who holds the key? It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising for the Rising Show with Empress Ella G. Wow. You did me a great favor this morning. You pulled me out of the fire.
I did.
Turned the steering wheel before I made impact.
Yes, I did.
Caught me before I fell off the cliff.
I sure did.
You sure did. Please show the world what you did. Maybe like about 13 minutes ago. Please.
Up. I woke him up. And I could have awakened him earlier, but I was kind of, doing some research or just trying to read up on some stuff. And I saw the time and I didn't hear a text message saying Grand Rising, I'm up, nothing. So I sent him a message. I said, hi, no response. Grand Rising, no response. So I had to make a phone call.
That's messed up.
I had to make 2 phone calls. And I was getting scared because I thought I was going to have to go live by myself. And I was like, oh, no.
What you think you're doing? Oh, yes, you are.
No.
We do things in stages, right?
Not happening.
What happened was I was actually up earlier and I had to do something, and then Mrs. Scurv had to take a run and I had to let her out, you know what I mean? And make sure everything was good. I mean, she could have left out herself, but I mean, I had to, just funny like that.
Right.
I
know. Because listen, it wouldn't be hard for me to close my eyes right now and fall right back to sleep. Trust me. It wouldn't be hard. It would not be hard. It'd be quite easy. Grand Rising, everyone. Hello.
I
see you all. I see you. I don't know if it
really get this battery pack for this little gadget here, so that's gonna take
no problem.
You'll still be going when I come back.
You think? There's not a lot in here yet. I don't know if Yvonne is still here because she came in early and said Grand Rising or Good Day Family. Hello, Yvonne, if you're there. Your first one on deck. Hi, Audley. Grand Rising. Good to see you. Hi, Eric of Days, or why do I keep saying of Days? Eric Days, how you doing? Hello, Miss Peace, Grand Rising, good to see you. Hi, Indigo King. Hello, Sister Synovia, how are you? Hi, Dami, good to see you. Let me see, who else is here? Uh, what is this? Salamawit. I hope I didn't mess up your name. Grand Rising, greetings to you. Greetings to you too. Very nice to see you. Hi, Miss Murda. How are you? Hi, Eric. Hello, hello, hello. Hello,
Yes.
DT Taylor. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all. What is the Dami said, oh, Miss Ella, kiss the baby. Um, I hope you have a little baby there you want me to blow a kiss to. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Because otherwise, I'm a little confused, my dear. Hello, Superman Haru. How are you this morning?
Yeah.
Uh,
Just want to
oh,
apologize for the
wrong
massive
Miss Ella.
typo.
Okay, okay. All right, no problem.
Just want to apologize for the massive typo. I had the title set up, and I did
Mhm.
something and it jacked the title up. Like, the word pedophilia was into the sentence, and it was supposed to be, when you see that happen, it's an obvious mistake. Like, what was this guy trying to say?
I
So,
know, I know.
I straightened it out one way, but the title looks funny on Twitter, Instagram,
Right.
Telegram. It just looks totally like jacked up. So I apologize for that.
Okay,
So
I understand, Dami. I know exactly who she is. I understand. That's okay. That's okay. Hi,
mhm.
Tina. How are you? Du-du-du. Um, let's see. I think that's it for right now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
there'll be more, but
yeah, they'll be filing in as we speak. How are you this morning, though, Brother Lance? I mean, I
I
know
feel good.
we
I
kind
could have
of
got a little bit of sleep, but I mean, I'm okay
right.
because I would be more bothered
Mhm.
if I started the show 5 minutes late, as opposed to saying I could have got 2 more hours of sleep.
Yeah,
Is it in my
yeah,
mind
yeah.
that I have something to do? I
Mm-hmm.
have to do it.
Right, right.
And that's the challenge for me. I'm competitive with myself. I set the goal. I set what it is that I have to do, and it's like I do it. I
Right.
kind of kill for that. Like I'm going to get this done. And
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say that, oh, I'm some great person. I'm some disciplined person. That's just one of my hangups.
Right, right, right.
It would have to be something extreme to keep me from doing something that I say I'm going to do. Now,
And then not do it. Right.
I'll back down. Common
Right.
sense was extremely tired. Not tired where, oh, I just feel tired. But if it's really a thing where it's going to hurt me, like you've been
Mm-hmm.
up for the last 3 days and only had like 1 hour of sleep, then logically I can say, you know what? Because of my experiences in the past,
Yeah,
I'm going to make
you
sure to
gotta
back up
have
a
to
little
get
bit.
that sleep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But normally I'm ride or die till the wheels fall off.
Okay.
And you'll know that when the wheels fall off. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not 20 years old anymore. You can stay up
Me
all night.
either.
I was
Me
never a party
either.
person or
Mm-hmm.
club person. I go right to
Mm-hmm.
work because I know guys that, like in New York, and I'm not going to bring it around to that. I just want to say that I know guys that you'd have like little after work specials in a club / restaurant that at 5 o'clock they start playing music, and it is a club, like a real club, like Friday, Saturday night, Thursday night. But they'll do that, and then they'll have something go on till maybe 1, 2 o'clock. And these people would stay at that club till 2 or 3 or whatever, go get something to eat, have a change of clothes, and turn around and go right back to work. Yeah. I never
Wow.
I never lived like that as far as a club thing, but I would always sometimes stay up and do whatever it was I was doing. And then you have the people that do the same thing again. The next day,
Mm-mm.
the after work special, stay up all night. They had some serious clothes they had to bring, but half the time they just went funky or changed or something. And they did
Right,
it all
right.
week into the weekend and never went home. And I
That's
couldn't figure it
crazy.
out
That's
until I
crazy.
realized the power of cocaine. Not that I tried it, but that's what it was.
Right.
They're all sniffed up. They're in love. They're all sniffed up.
Oh, well. Hello, Khadija. Tina, did I say hi to you, dear? I'm sure I did. I think I did. But anyways, nice to see you guys. This topic, Brother Lance, Sir Lance.
Yes.
It's a very, 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 very interesting and controversial topic.
Hey, we're going to talk about everything, and that's what we do here.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. How are we going to manage?
We're going to wing it. Like, just shoot from the hip like we always do. And this topic, like I said, we're going to have the fun shows, but there's always something that I want to, just different things along this level. And we will be talking about pedophilia, frequently. It's not like, oh God, the weekly pedophilia show. No. But, every 2 months, every month, if something comes up in the news, it's not just a news thing. It's just what must be touched instinctively. And that's the wrong choice of words, right? I'm just waking up. We're going to touch on everything that will help to bring healing.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about when we speak about this. It's not about sensationalism. We got to get people to come on in and talk, and what did he do? And how did he touch you? No, if you want to, share something because we're talking about something, to speak about it is very healthy. But there are many people out here who are not in the place of wanting to talk about things. And it's not a matter of making you not feel comfortable. Like, look at it this way. This is an auditorium. This is a hall. And you and I up in the front, we're speaking.
Right.
It's a packed hall, the second level also. The closer you sit to the front is the more comfortable you are in talking about or possibly speaking, and we give you the mic.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable, we're not going to force you no matter where you sit in that auditorium. But if you're not comfortable and don't want to share anything, but you just want to sit way in the back because you have been a victim of this, it's okay. Nobody's going to embarrass you. Nobody's going to put you down. Nobody's going to say, oh, it's your fault. Or you were dressed a certain way.
Right.
He wouldn't have did this unless you dressed this way. No, this is something that was done to you and it's not your fault.
Exactly.
And I would say, before I said 1/3, then I said 1/2, then I said 2/3. But right now in my life, with my insight, like I can look at you and tell, but more people have opened up to me in my inner circles and the circle behind that and just in the outer circle. Like, Lance, I'm so glad you talked about this or whatever, because we have in the past, but every time it's going to be a different angle.
Right.
And really right now, I haven't figured the angle out because this is such a vast topic that the angles, it's not like when we talked about it this way and talk about it that way. And, it's like showing up to a party and you can't find a seat when you're sitting down. It's so wide open. There's so many ways we can go. We'll let the spirit lead us with this one.
Okay. Yes.
So whichever way we go, because that's why I put the word big right there where you see it before you see anything else. And well, we did have an angle. Let me correct. And this computer froze. You better not mess up so early in the show. Okay, we're good. We're good. And again, if I get knocked off, I haven't set the phone up yet. I'm charging it. I'll set it up there. Just give me a few moments. And, we have construction going on, but it seems to be very quiet right now.
See.
Time for me, fellas.
What?
But what I'm going to do, look at this here. The rest of the title on the banner. Pedophilia. Why is it that such a taboo discussion is never addressed by Black victimized families? Black victimized families. We're not saying an individual went through the whole family, but I've known situations where most of the family was affected by that father, that uncle, and in one of the cases that I know, a father and an uncle. And the father knew the uncle was doing it, and the uncle knew the father was doing it. And the uncle got mad, not super duper outwardly, because I studied body language, I studied the facial expressions, and I already knew and I was told. So now I'm not that good to just know that walking into the situation, because it was an old girlfriend's family. I'm just throwing this out to stimulate, people with their thoughts and what they might share.
Right.
He told me, see, she was one of the lucky ones that didn't get molested. I don't know what it was about. I figured it was her personality. She had a very dominant personality. She wasn't going for things, even when she was younger, before I knew who she was. She shared this with me, and I talked about it the other day on the show, where all the boys who are grown men now were forced to perform various acts, and that act, that one too, repeatedly. What was really bad is that they all knew from young ages, where the one who was labeled developmentally delayed, other people would say retarded. And it's kind of harsh the way that word sounds, because we've used that word in society. What are you, retarded?
So flippantly, yeah.
Put down. So that was the one who was of male children, who was more verbal. Even when he didn't want to do something, of course, who would want to do that? Like, come here, daddy, I want to do that. No, you don't want. That's why with that big pot of soup, he would do things to it before he handed his father soup. That was his way as a grown man to get back, because he wasn't able to be on his own all the way.
Right.
He would say, like, out of fear, because he shared that with me. And he loved me in a special way, the one who was developmentally delayed, because I gave him an ear, and he needed that.
Right.
So he would say, no, daddy, I don't want. I'm not making fun. I'm just saying what he told me. He said, no, daddy, it's one of their turns. I did it last night. Like, damn, you all knew it. I did it last night. It's not my turn. Let them do it. So it really affected him. And we saw how it affected the other two. None of them were really able to be out on their own. That's one thing I noticed. As much, and these were grown men. At the time, I'd say I was in my late teens, and they were in their late 30s, early 30s, late 30s. Two of them were going on 40.
What?
And they still had their room, and the other one still had he was in the attic, and the other one had his room on the second floor. So it was like they were grown men, but their development was truly delayed.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were near the source of the pain in a severe way, but it made them unable to, and this is my assessment, maybe I'm wrong, because we all can assess.
They couldn't break out of it. They
Right. And kind of be off about it.
Right.
But to me, they were broken. I can't say, they malfunctioned, because they were broken before they could even function.
Exactly.
And I was very close with all of them to a point. They were all in their own world, very reclusive, but they all liked me. I'm just that kind of guy. And their sister, who I was dating, she told me a lot. And even though she wasn't one who was actually touched or made to do things to him, it's the father, man. She was affected. She was affected because she eventually, messed around, with women. Maybe she did from back then.
Wow.
That's not my old girlfriend I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
But an interesting fact, as vast as New York City is, when I did meet the other girlfriend that I was with for a long time, who toward the end of everything, I found her in that position. When I met her after a couple of weeks, she's like, "Oh, you know her too?"
Right.
And she said, "Yeah, we did some things a couple of times." So what is this following me? Some kind of spirit?
I'm not even going to say right now.
Even in the vast New York City, You date somebody about a year and a half, 2 years, which is forever as a teenager, right? You break up. There's a girl who just comes to America from another country. And you talk and realize that they both had some kind of, I'm not going to say lesbian, whatever, but
dealings
with each other. And I meet them separately, don't know nothing about it, and find out that, I mean, what's the odds of that?
That's that Jamaican connection.
You know, I'm not going to turn it into that. We're going to keep it on the topic. But when I said that it was 1/3 and then 1/2 and 2/3 of the women I dealt with, I'll say now that for me, my numbers on, it doesn't have to be straight up intercourse or an act, or it could have been touching, it could have been somebody continually exposing themselves to you or whatever. To me, in my personal life, 85%.
Yeah.
Women I dealt with had some bout with that
yeah.
traumatized them on a great level or to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
But to me, the lesser degree is just as bad because it's something that shouldn't have happened at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So to me, I can say 90%. I'm holding back to not say 90%. But I see no reason to not say 90%. But I'll just be cool because somebody's going to say, oh, man, what kind of women you date? It's not their fault. But you know what? I thought about it, too. I'm very protective. I'm very nurturing.
Right.
I'm a man. And we associate nurturing with the female energy. But we're a balance of both. And I know that my mother gave me that extra bit of nurturing energy, how she nurtured me, but I had the masculine energies. And my father was nurturing in a male way, but he'd let me take a tumble more than my mother would, like if I was walking to, and fell or whatever. I don't remember that. I'm just using that as an example. So I have the nurturing energy. I'm very protective. So in my own meditation, I realized, wow, this is possibly one of the factors why women who have been abused gravitate toward me, because they feel safe.
Right.
So life is complex. Why are we with the people that we're with? How do we react to certain things? Some people get angry, some people but I do know that my old girlfriend, she wasn't a butch, the one that I was dating but she had the tendencies to look that way by the way she dressed.
Right.
And she had an edge to her personality, especially when she was in public. And she did do things on that level after we broke up. And she was always very feminine after that. But she was always had that look and that edge. Not extremely, but it's like, you would say, I could see her doing that or being that. And she did have a lot of anger because she sympathized with her brothers and one of the sisters. It was mostly the boys. So
that father needed to be hung.
And I remember the uncle, he was a piece of shit. I'm going to say it like that.
Was he messing with the brother's children?
Yeah. And the father knew, but the father was doing it too.
What is that?
I saw this with my own eye. No. I'm not going to say I saw the acts. I saw the magnetism. I saw the electricity. I saw the vibes. And that uncle never liked me because he always wanted the sister, the daughter of who I dated.
The one that you were dating. Yeah.
Yeah. He was subtly, when she was younger, not even subtly. If she was getting ready to go to church, they were a little church family. They were very dysfunctional, but she remembers every time she'd have a dress and she was going, they all get ready to go to church. He'd find himself at the bottom of the steps. They had a stairwell. Really? It didn't come straight down. It came straight down to a little landing that might have been 3 feet before it turned. It made a right angle. So it turned. So he would find himself sitting there where he can look up the steps, but he's acting like he was looking at a newspaper or what. He might have been waiting for the father. He always had this hat on and had glasses, so he can peek up, and the reflection from the lens kept you seeing where his eyes really were. So he peeked up barely enough where he can see. So if she was walking up the steps, he's trying to look under her dress. If he knew she went in the bathroom and didn't hear the latch because the lock was busted, he'd find himself, there's a bathroom downstairs, but he'd find himself when he knew that he would get there early when they were showering and try to bust in the bathroom.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because she said about maybe 2 or 3 times, because they didn't see, I'm not going to say it's just black people. Let's just talk about some black people. They didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
They didn't have a lot of money. They had enough to pay their bills and eat, but they didn't have excess. So when the lock for the bathroom door, you had those old-fashioned glass-looking locks, and when something would happen to it, the whole piece would come out.
Right.
So to lock the door, they'd take like a rag and put it into the hole and pull it closed, and that kept it that way.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I do.
We all had some kind of, whether it was us or somebody that we knew, right?
Yeah.
So she do it that way. So now you hear the shower, you see the rag. So why are you gonna push the door open like that?
Right.
And he was doing that.
See, we put a little latch on the inside of our bathroom because a lot of these older homes, so you put one, the ones with a little hook, you have the little screw thing on one side, and then you have the hook. Put that on there.
Synovia asked me, where's the mother? She never came to her room, rarely. And
she was abused by the father, no doubt. So he probably had his hand on her, on her head. So she was not able to really speak out. And depending on, it would have to be a certain age, and however she was raised, who the hell knows if she wasn't abused?
Probably. Look
and
at
how much older he was than her.
Yeah. Abuse happens no matter where you grow up.
Right.
So I'm not a northerner in growing up in New York saying, oh, that's always, and look, but in the South back in the day, still happens there, still happens up north, still happens across all races and cultures. We know that. I don't know the statistics, but if you grew up in the country in Dothan, Alabama, and that was like the closest place that was, and it's on the outskirts of that, and you way out.
Okay.
You way out somewhere, remote. There's no consequences for what you do. You might even beat your wife.
Exactly.
Who calls the cops?
Exactly.
You might feel, and do these things to your kids, and they know nothing. They know nothing of the outside world. They don't know nothing about.
So as far as they're concerned, it's normal.
Exactly, because you're isolated. Yeah. And then when you have other families having that done, that's just a big secret. We don't talk about that.
Right.
You go to church and you play pretend, and you see what I mean? And I have to tell another story again really quick, the other one, because we'll go back into this. So the one where the young lady used to drive, or not drive, but ride with me on my bus. Right? When I used to drive for Lynx public transportation in Orlando, Florida, Because I tell people, I used to drive for Lynx. And they're like, they never been to Orlando. What are you talking about? Like, I kind of forget it. As soon as they know. It happened to me the other day. What's that?
What's Lynx?
Yes, she opened up to me over the course of several years.
Right.
And so one night she says, Lance, can I ride the next trip with you? I said, sure. She wanted to go the whole way, the round trip, 3 hours and all that stuff. So I said, no problem. People often do that. I was like, come ride with me. All day you off. I want to get out, but I don't want to go nowhere. Can I ride with you? And usually they had something to talk about. And she began to tell me how, I don't know whether it was 8 years old, 9 or 8, I think it was 8. And her grandfather was a preacher. And it wasn't a hole-in-the-wall church, but it wasn't a mega church either. It was a good-sized church, good-sized congregation. He was charismatic. Everybody loved him. But he had a daughter, which was her mother, who had a crack problem. And everybody knew that. But they didn't blame him for what did he do wrong or whatever. Because she coming up was rebellious and all this stuff and acting out But we began to understand, and I'm saying it like it's her when I wasn't there, but she began to understand why, as she got older and everybody else began to understand why she acted out, but it didn't come out until later.
Right.
What happened. So with her crack habit and having an 8-year-old daughter, which is a granddaughter to the pastor, an active pastor, and she wouldn't go to church, but she'd make sure she was dressed up for her to go to her grandfather's church. Now, here's the catch. He drove. She didn't. She's on crack. She would bring her daughter, and I'm going to say it again, which is the pastor's granddaughter, to the pastor's house. What's wrong with that from the outside? Well, the pastor would give his daughter money. He knew what she was going to do with it. And sometimes she'd bounce and sometimes she'd stay right there. So what am I getting at? Because I know there's some folks who didn't hear the story. Before the service, Sunday school is already going on. You have your people who open up the church and you didn't get there yet.
Right.
So the service is at 11. Yeah, you get there 9:30 or 10 o'clock. You already know what you're going to talk about. They have breakfast. Everybody's stomach is full, but they would.
In more ways than one.
That's what I was going to say, but I was like, I caught myself because I don't want to make it sound like I'm making fun. But no, but it's true in more ways than one, because the daughter would go out and get her crack and come back to her father's house, who was the pastor. I'm saying it so you don't forget who's who.
Right.
And she would sit there already high, waiting for more money, while the pastor was straight out having sex with his granddaughter before the service. He forced her to do things, but he went up in her and showed no mercy.
Oh my God.
And so it was a grown, lubricated woman who was down with that.
Oh,
and oftentimes it was already groomed and ready. So she had no hymen. Her virginity was taken. It was painful. She said it felt like somebody taking rough sandpaper. And you know when you wipe up.
Can't even imagine.
When you go to the bathroom from number 2 and scrubbing your anus with rough sandpaper with all they might. And sometimes she's bleeding. I mean, they had some serious proof. He didn't care.
Why isn't he dead? I mean, why wasn't he
There was
killed?
no other one around who knew and who would.
Why wasn't he?
And they kept the family secret. This is why I made the title this way. Why is that such a discussion is never addressed?
Oh my God.
Okay, so she had to endure this for several years until she got more verbal about certain things in her personality, and he backed off. But she was in the bus crying. It was only me and her. It was my last run. And other people came on the bus who were within earshot. You know, when you're not paying anybody's conversation in your mind, but you hear something, your subconscious mind makes your ear perk up. She was like, what the hell are they talking about? And when she was crying, there was a lady who came and she heard 2/3 of the story. Didn't know the woman who was the victim, who was that 8-year-old daughter, a granddaughter, but she put her arm around and said, baby, it's going to be all right. She starts crying because it happened to me too in a different way. And another granny came up to the front and they all started praying. Now, we know that, many of us are raised up in a Christian way, so I'm not going to knock what they think is whatever, but I couldn't believe what I was hearing and seeing. The love that came forward on the bus with strangers.
Right.
And so this is the thing that she said, you think that's enough? She was usually in her dress that she was going to wear. She heard him say one time, put the dress on to his daughter, who was the crackhead.
Right.
And while he did this, oftentimes, the way she said it, my mama was sitting right there on the edge of bed, and the bed was going up and down, because he was doing what he was doing. And she was sitting there high as a kite, just, sometimes she'd turn her back. And I'm like, mommy. And she's sitting there ignoring her. Do you know the scars that girl got, who's now a grown woman, that you calling out for help? You know it's wrong, but you don't really know what's what, but you know it's wrong, and she's ignoring you. So the grandfather, his twisted, sick fetish, he wanted to see the young church girl dressed up for service that happened to be his granddaughter. Now, I can get more graphic, but I ain't, because I think that you kind of understand the scenario. Didn't wash her up. Not that you're like, well, this is the procedure, I'm going to clean you up now. You're doing that. You don't care about nothing. So she's sitting in the service now, sitting up in the front row, and everybody's talking about how beautiful his granddaughter is and how she's so mannerable. I'm going to say some shocking things, but I'm saying it for effect, because when you are the victim of this, there's no soft way of someone doing that to you. But could you imagine an 8-year-old girl sitting in the front row of a service and all these Christian zombies who don't know, I say they're zombies because she found out that was something going on all over the church. And she found out that there were other people her age that when they got older and talked about sex in whispers, things came out. But could you imagine him smiling and taking all the compliments, trying to act modest? And she's seeing this while her granddaddy's cum is leaking out of her vagina and down her leg. I'm sorry I had to say it that way, but we need to hear it the way it is. And too many black families are too hush. We don't want to make it a certain way. Keep that in the family. Don't tell nobody about this. So when you have the minor things happen, where you keep this in the family, you might be broke for the week. I'm not going to go over there to sister so-and-so and ask them for nothing because they're going to think we broke. Well, hell, you are.
You are broke.
To get food in the house. They ask you all the time. So when you have that kind of culture going on in a family, where no matter what happens, you have to keep it down. It's easy for a pedophile to roll right along with that because you already have that rhythm in your head. That is the way you operate. So why is it now that over the next few years as she rolled with sweet young woman, she was extremely overweight. I saw other family members of hers through pictures she showed me, and on Facebook you would see, and they were all slender. Right. But eating a lot was a way of her coping and making herself unattractive.
Yes.
I'll make myself unattractive. You have some young ladies who dress like a butch, like I'll say it, like a bull dyke. And they're as straight as can be, because in their mind, if I make myself unattractive, my father or my uncle or whoever won't touch me, even though the father or the uncle might now be dead and not even on this earth. But it's a psychological scar.
Still there,
I'm not going to go through this anymore. So I'm going to make myself sometime dress like a butch. Not always. Get overweight. So it made me wonder. In my own meditation, I know some women who happen to be butch. I talk with everybody, not to probe them or psychoanalyze them, but they open up to me and I get a lot of information over the years, and I noticed some common threads, where lots of them who react in such a manner have gone through trauma. If many heterosexual women have gone through this and they react in different ways, what about the ones who are extremely butch? And they'll say, well, you can't say that about everybody. I'm not saying it about everybody. But I noticed that the ones that know who or chubby or extremely overweight. Now you can be that way anyway, right? Doesn't mean it was trauma, but dressing, and you can't even tell what they are. Lots of times, I can't tell you what percentage it is. And again, for the sake of clarity, I'm not saying everybody who is that had gone through that, but I'm willing to bet that a great majority of those who act out like that have gone through that.
Yeah.
You see? So They hide behind the facade of an engineered masculinity. So that's why when I said last night, when I know those who are that in that category, that when I treat them like a man, they embrace me more because they feel good that I'm not treating them like a female.
Like a female, right.
Female means you're going to be in a vulnerable place. This is my own observation. Maybe I'm wrong according to the official statistics, but I'm just telling you my perspective. It doesn't mean that this is the way it is. But I'm quite sure there are some who may agree. If you don't, that's fine, because I'm still learning. But this thing is something that has so many of us really scarred.
My God.
I say that, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. I'm going to say it again. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it was your fault. It doesn't mean that it was your fault. I'm going to say it one more time. It does not mean that it's your fault. We sometimes have to say things over and over. And you need, if you still struggle with certain things, say it to yourself. That was not my fault. There's nothing wrong with me. This is something they did to me. And yes, I have my emotional scars because I am innocent of anything. And sometimes these people will want to throw off on you when they get older. And sometimes you'll get the strength to confront that person. It's not always just fathers, stepfathers, uncles, the counselor down at the school, whatever, up in the church. I heard whisperings of a church that I used to go to with friends of mine. I used to love going to church with friends of mine, because we just have our own world and whatnot. But as we got older, we heard the whisperings.
Yes.
And we heard the mother or the church mothers sometime, they thinking when we're standing there, we like laugh with each other. I'm steady listening to what they're saying.
Yeah.
So this thing is wrapped up. Let's talk about the church aspect of it. You who are out of the church, the Christian church. I know it happens in Islam. I know it happens in Judaism. It really happens in Catholicism. Whoa, we know that. But I'm talking about us because my focus is us. Because ain't nobody out there in the world focusing on us. They don't give a damn. You'll have some nice white people who act this way, whatever, but ain't nobody coming to our rescue. So we need to open up the case, y'all. Open up the files.
Open it up and expose it. That's right. That's right. I
don't care if you're 87 years old and everybody who was around at that time is dead. You talk about it. You tell the world. You get it off of you. It's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you.
That's true. You
internalize another twisted person's sickness.
Exactly. Listen.
But the sad part is, it will affect them oftentimes sexually. And this is something that I've observed, not in every case, because remember, I've been around when I was younger and I like to talk, but I'm not going to ask anybody anything. I wasn't taking surveys, but those young ladies who opened up about many of the things that they hated, that they were made to do, or some of them would just detach themselves. I knew a young lady one time that she's all into the foreplay, all into getting you hot and bothered. It wasn't just a sex thing. We liked each other, but it wasn't no relationship. And as soon as it was time for intercourse, she cut off. And I'm like, after a while, you got momentum. You're like, yeah, you're doing it. Hey, is everything all right? You're just laying there. I know I ain't that bad. And they said, no, that's the way I am. I'm enjoying it. Keep going. But it was extreme. It was like somebody on a dead body. So that wasn't enjoyable. And I had a depth of mind, even at a young age, that something happened here. Because remember,
right.
my mother, my father talked to me about everything, about those situations. Anybody tries to approach you from young, like, yo, you physically assault them or whatever, and you come and tell us. I was ready, to kill. But see, what happened with me, with my older cousin who's female, that was before I wasn't even 5 years old yet. And nobody was around, and I'm not going to tell the details. Like I've told it many times before, but she would always coerce me with candy to go down on it. And so that's how that affected me. See?
My
Because I mean,
God.
nothing like that.
My God.
But it wasn't the traumatic thing like other people, they shut down. But in my mind, I didn't remember that for a long time.
Right.
Until I saw her, because she was never around. She was technically an illegal immigrant from Jamaica who worked whatever job she could. So, I'm working up in Boston now. I'm with this family and I'm taking care of the kids. So we ain't going to see her that much. Oh, I'm working in Jersey now. Or she might have to come down to New York for a reason. Oh, yeah, Cousin Mel. That's her name. We used to call her.
Lord.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord.
Happy family members, who hear that, but they might, well, I'm not internalizing that. You have to take the little candy. You had the peppermint candy, but it wasn't peppermint. They had the one that was just sweet and it didn't have any hotness to it. I'm still waking up, y'all. And she put it right up under the clit and talk about, you got to find the candy, but you can't use your hands. So I'm going to use my foot. And when I found the candy, she's like, well, there's still juice there. Still juice. Yeah, there was right up under her clit. And sometimes we get shocked when people talk about their trauma or the wrongdoing done to them.
Yes.
About that. You need to talk about it. I'm not saying get up there with a boom on. I'm not going to sit here and say what happened to me because it was wrong. But to me, as I got older, I wasn't traumatized as if it was a man. Not that as a woman can do that to a young boy, because there's a lot of that going on too. It happened to me for a good long time. I didn't know, but she had to warn me. When I would say little things around people, my family, that was the only thing that was that, and the fact that my older brother was always on drugs. But I had nobody has a perfect childhood, but aside from that, I had a perfect childhood, and those things wouldn't happen. If they knew, who would think that?
Exactly.
It's something back, and you engaging my, when you look at a woman, you say, man, she's really attractive. I was a baby. I couldn't look at her that way, but looking back, she was very attractive. And I'm not saying in a sexual way. I knew nothing of this sexual thing at that age.
Exactly.
When she would put her mouth on me, it just felt warm. But the visuals I remember.
Hold on. Just hold the phone a second. What did you just say a while ago?
Yeah, she put her mouth on me. I was standing by the edge of the couch. She's always on the couch watching soap operas, and that's when that would happen. And it was fun to me, like just finding the candy. So she didn't flip. But when my father was leaving the room and we were there all together, and I said, I want to find the candy. And she, shh, don't.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I didn't know what was going on. It was the visuals.
Oh,
very frank and not graphic, but yeah.
God.
Yeah. She'd laugh and I'd have a t-shirt on or something. You better put that thing away.
Oh my God.
You better take a knife and chop it off. Now she didn't mean that, right? I'm running around.
Oh my God.
And she grabbed me and she's on the couch and she had a slip on. White little slip that always rolled out. And she really, because when I got older and she came around the house, because sometime years ago you wouldn't see her. So when I was working out, came back home from a workout, and she was sitting in the living room. And this is what triggered me off to know something wasn't right. Because I don't do incest. I mean, that was done to me, right? But I mean, in my life, it's not like I had a cousin and we, and I'm not anybody who had experiences, right? But she had extremely, insanely shapely legs. And I didn't look at it like that when I was a kid, and sometimes you'd see her here and there, but in the street, there's Cousin Mel. Well, I got to get home. I got to get back to Jersey. Okay, well, give us a call. Not me, but my mother, father would say that. And she had extremely shapely legs, full. Like these days, it would be like she's like some, stereotypical big booty, shapely legs, but fit, small waist, ample breasts, and pretty. And so I saw her. She was like, Lancey, because my father's name is Lance.
Right,
my name
right.
is Lance or Lancelot. I leave the lot off, so don't tell nobody, y'all.
Yeah,
I ain't
take the lot off it.
So when she called me,
she
called Lance, and he was working on the truck, and I was down the block. We'd both show up. So she came up with, I'm gonna call you Lancey, which sounded kind of like, I was like, God, don't be calling me no Lancey, But people who know me from growing up like that, and so if my father heard Lancey, well, he's calling, and he called me, so he can call me Lance because he was Lance, and if I heard somebody say Lance, he didn't call me Lance. So sometimes he would. But anyway, she was Lancey, and when I looked at her in a very sexual way.
Right.
And from within, I flipped out. And I'm like, what? I was really upset. I was like, something's wrong with me.
Right.
I buried that, and I never knew. I was upset for years that I looked at her legs, and she always wore shorter skirts. She wasn't walking around down. She was a seductress anyway. I could see that. And I could remember hearing her talk to my mother every now and then, and she's crying about this relationship that didn't work out or whatever. When is it going to end? What am I going to find? I'd be in the bed, or something, and I hear her say that, or on the couch or whatever. And you know how those old phones, unless you cup that phone to your ear, that thing was damn near a loudspeaker. You hear what was going on?
Yeah.
That big black phone that when it rung 3 a.m, the whole neighborhood woke up.
Yep.
Like, oh God. You start crying before you answer the phone. Oh God. And if all your family was home, you felt a little better, like, oh, my family's home. Nobody got no car accident. Nobody got killed. Hello. And you kids crying, or I'm sorry to call you. Like, okay, who? And if it was a certain family member, you knew who was in their family. Like they had one son, or that's it. You knew she was calling about the son. He had a car, So now when you get that call, but it's like for years I struggled as to why most men would, she got some night. They wouldn't do anything. Like, man, she looked good, but I can't do that. And then it hit me.
Yeah.
And Lord came back flooding into my mind what it was. But I was so young and I didn't remember, but I probably did push it back somehow.
You think,
but
Lance?
symbolically, she would put her mouth on me. And a little 4.5-year-old, almost 5-year-old baby penis.
Right.
I remember, it wasn't so hard to like be deep throated that way because you ain't have nothing.
You're a freaking mess.
But I remember being warm, and I equated that with peeing, like the warm feeling that comes because it's the same part. So this is why some people, their pre-sexual feelings, like when they wet the bed, the feeling of release is like the closest thing that you can have to an orgasm. I didn't have no piss fantasies and no urinating. I didn't get into that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But a woman on the couch with a short slip and these breasts that were spilling out and the legs, and
you're done.
That and there were times when I was in that place where it may not be everything exactly like that, but I would get extremely turned on. I'm not saying this to keep my business out there. I'm saying how you can get affected. So what happens when it's something that at the time that it happened, aside from me, was something fun to do, I was not traumatized. I liked it. At first, when I didn't know what an orgasm was, I pulled away. I was like, you okay? I was doing it.
Right.
Wow, she said, I don't have no candy for you, but let's play like we do. And I went right to work.
Wow.
I knew what to do. She guided me and taught me. So when I'm 11, well, I actually started things when I was 11 years old. And it was always like an older girl, you know? So that's why it was like, oh yeah, first thing. So back in the 70s, it's like, where do you get this from? Grown folks knew about this stuff, but you 13, 14, 15, 13, 14, and where most guys would just want to smooch up on a girl and touch a titty and what, you know, go home and play with them. So because you didn't go all the way, they would let me do things and they were like, oh my God. So word got out. So anybody who's real friendly with me as a female is because, so females go through this. You can either be shut down or detached or get very promiscuous when it's hanging in the back of your mind. But if you're not thinking about it and you shut it out, it's still in the back of your mind.
It's still there. It's still there.
This is why going back to the church where things are so hidden, and it happens everywhere. But this is why a lot of our sisters and brothers that were messed with by a man.
Oh, see, my God.
Like that. But imagine, because see, when they talk about pedophilia, oftentimes they talk about the girl who was molested.
Yes.
But what about the little boys?
Yes.
See? So here they are. And I knew someone, and I can't say they're positioning to me in my life. They're not family, but it's somebody that has a certain position in my life to my children, you know, honorary. You know what I mean? I'll say that much.
Right.
Maybe I'll have them come on because I think they'll talk about it. They just have to keep their name and stuff. All that has to be anonymous because in the business world, financial world, they're extremely well known. I mean, just like extremely well known, but it wouldn't be where they're famous, but in that world,
they're famous.
Yeah. All of Wall Street and everything, right? So, you know, and he's in the church growing up, and he would tell me that, and he is gay, but he's one of the most beautiful. I'm not saying beautiful like as a man, a beautiful man. What are you talking about? You got some tendencies, girl? No, I'm just saying it this way. He is so considerate. He is so loving. If your child is running down the street, you don't even have to know you, and they fall and scrape their leg and a little blood comes out and they cry. He's the first one to jump up and run to the store to get a Band-Aid. And while he's putting it on, I mean, he's not no molester or whatever, but he's crying too. This guy got a heart on him. And like I told him, and I'm saying this for example, because there were people like, if I had a spaceship and the world was about to blow up, he would definitely have a seat if there was only 10 seats. Now, a lot of people say, well, I hope I get one of them. No, my spaceship would have millions of seats for the people that I love. But symbolically, and he's gay. And he's not aggressive. There've been times years go by. I'm not condoning anything, but I know the roots of in that particular case. I'm not saying all gay men were molested. I'm not going to get into that. I don't know, and I'm not trying to find out. All I'm saying is that with him, he was made to give oral sex to somebody in the church early after Sunday school. The church was huge. This is a huge church. He didn't have a father in his life. He had a mother who was a lot older. You know how sometimes like you'll have a person who they might be like 40 years old or 42 that they have a child. Well, when you're 20 years old, your mother's 62.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So without a father, they weren't poor. She actually had more money than his mother had more money than most couples. You know what I mean? Intelligent, all this stuff. But she could not have been the sentinel looking over and watching 24/7.
Right.
You see what I mean? So this went on for a long time. And when he would tell me, it was like, he would cry and he's like, Lance, I don't want to bore you with this stuff. And I said, no, it's okay. You can tell me. You can talk to me about that. And it hurt me. See, I'm not, well, he gay. I don't care. It ain't my fight. He was not telling me anything he did, but he would tell me, I'm not out there. I'm not flaming. He was very masculine. He had to be in the world that he was in. He had to be, but you had to have a certain profile, so he had to get married. And that's a whole other story. And he did.
Listen.
You see? So that's one thing that we look after the girls, but a lot of time we don't look after the boys, and then we really don't look after it, like to say this woman is messing with my son.
Exactly.
It's something that we just know is not going to happen, and they will talk the talk. They can even jump in this conversation, the ones who are predators, who are females. Yeah, it's so bad, and I just can't believe. They morph into something and shapeshift, and you swear by their conversation on a righteous level that they're on your side, and they turn around and make your son eat their pussy. I'm saying not to be nasty, but you have to talk in the show. Oh, look what he said. Well, I'm saying it that way so you can face what somebody did. Because it's not pretty. It's not nice. I'm not angry with my older cousin. I got to say, I'm twisted. I'm twisted. I'm not somebody who's going to repeat the process. No.
But why are you twisted?
I was not traumatized. I was not like.
But you know what? I mean,
in my mind, it was like, I like what I am. Okay. With grown women. But it made me gravitate toward older women all the time.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So those who have gone through stuff begin to untangle that tangled ball of yarn that we all are.
And it takes time. You know, and I mean, part of our topic here is, why is it that the Black family don't address it? You know, and something sort of came into my mind. You know, when you look at definitions of pedophilia and so on and so forth, you know, they try to make it seem like, for the most part, it's a condition. You know, it's a condition that
I don't agree with that.
People have, right? But in terms of Black family, let's keep it to our people, right? In terms of Black families, in slavery time, now we know pedophilia is coming from way back, you know, Roman Empire. You know, the fact that they loved young boys, and that was the norm to you know, mess with young children, young boys. You know, when it comes to us and slavery, and seeing the slave master violating the younger people, the younger girls, because it happened, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11 being violated. It's being seen. Young boys are seeing it. Men are seeing it. What is so wrong? What is so hard to imagine that became part of the culture because that's what was seen? You understand? Now, as we come forward, it's taboo. So now when it's happening, it's like, you can't tell anybody that this is happening. No, we have to keep it in the family. We don't talk about it. But it's ingrained in their psyche and in our DNA, because it's something that we saw and experienced time and time and time again. That's what came to my mind as I was reading some things. It's not just, you know, Black people just got up and decided we're all, you know, we're going to be pedophiles, or, you know, and we're not going to tell anyone. No, it's something that we experienced, and then now we carry it down and we live it out, you know, and we don't talk about it.
Right.
Now, is it a shame factor? I don't know. It's just that we know that if the same people who inflicted it on us, right?
Yes.
If those same people knew that this is what was going on, they're going to be the first ones to mete out punishment. And, you know, what's the word, Brother Lance?
We have a double brain fart going on here.
Yeah, because how you gonna know, and you don't know? You're not in my head, right? You're not in my mind. You know, but you know, yeah. But it's like, now they're gonna mete out punishment on you, because now, how dare you? How could you? Whatever. But that's where, I don't know about African culture, as far as, did something like this happen back in the day, and I can't imagine that it did. Everything that we experience, everything that we do, to me, this is my opinion.
Right.
You know, when it comes to a lifestyle like that, we got that from our oppressors. You know,
Of course.
why
Of
don't we
course.
talk about it? Why is it that we're afraid to talk about it? Why is it that it's taboo?
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna not talk about anything that happened to me. I'm a damn open book, and that's just skimming the surface. I can get into detail about a lot of things, not even just the whole sexual thing, but just a lot of things. I am not. It's just like the pastor there, Miles Monroe, that got killed in a car, the plane crash, right? Like I said, if there was anybody who was a pastor who was, from what I saw, you know, I don't know what happens in people's personal lives, but that is somebody as a person. Forget that he's a pastor, right? That is somebody as a person I really resonate with. I mean, the way he spoke, not some he was charismatic, but what I'm saying is that he made valid points and he wasn't afraid to talk about a lot of things.
Right.
He went right to the nitty gritty. And you did not get from him any of this hierarchy of flashiness. And I'm the pastor. No, you did. Let me tell you something. It's a couple of years ago when I met him, not to shake his hand, but I was sitting maybe like 4 rows from the front where we went to this church and he spoke. And I didn't know of a Miles Monroe. He spoke. We happened to be there. And he spoke, and it touched me so much. I was in line with what he was saying.
Right.
But I didn't know him. It was only afterward, maybe a year or two afterward, I said, look, on YouTube, ain't that the guy that we went to? Yeah, that's him. I said, man, I like that guy. So I started listening to him. And he had I think it was like 69 books. But what I'm saying is that when I found out that he got killed in a plane crash, I cried so hard. Scurv was right there. And I was on the computer and I pulled up some, I always look at news sites, but depending on what the news site is, I filter. I look at CNN, I look at Fox. I know Fox is going to slant the heck out of everything, but I look at the intent. It's like a chess match. But I also look at things in other countries, other alternative things. And I use my filter and put things together, but there's no twist in that story. He died in a plane crash. And I was so hurt. And I'm not afraid to cry in front of anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? It hurt me. And I was like, wow. Because, you know, if I knew who he was or I knew I had prior knowledge and got into the things that he was doing, man, I would have, after the service, I would have shook his hand, took a picture or something. You know what I mean? And because he was right there, and I didn't know who he was, but he spoke so well. So when anybody's around you who touches you and speaks to you a certain way to your heart, don't let them go without letting them know that.
Exactly.
I would have loved to say to him, man, I'm not in the church no more like that. I don't do that no more. But what you said was 100% truth. And I'm rolling with you. And I probably would have ended up sitting up in somebody's church with him. Not in a churchified manner, but
as long as he was a speaker. Yeah.
Exactly. And I would be up in there bold, but don't think I'm trying to convert nobody. Don't think I'm calling myself that title.
No, it was what he represented. It was what it was a message that he brought.
Exactly.
And that's why he's no longer here, because he was about to turn people out. Okay. He was going to wake up the masses. And it was like, oh, no. We can't have that. We cannot have that. So they made sure to get rid of him and his co-pastor and his wife, because, you know, you got a co-pastor, 9 times out of 10, you're on the same page. You know, you have the same philosophy, you have the same mindset. So, you know, But, oh, God, I tell you. I just wish that we would be a little less afraid to speak up. And what bothers me is when you do tell someone, you know, you become the victim, you become the liar.
Right. Well, you don't become the victim, but you become the troublemaker.
The troublemaker, right?
Why
the
you
troublemaker.
The apple cart?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And they'll tell you in a way where when you're beginning, this wasn't my experience, because it wasn't out of fear that I didn't say, oh, she did this. Because sadly, I wasn't against it. I kind of liked what, you know what I mean? It wasn't, maybe that's sick to say, I'm gonna admit it. I mean, I like what I like now. And she affected me in that way. And it wasn't like somebody like that little girl who the pastor grandfather screwed her right in front of the mother. It wasn't like that kind of thing. And plus growing up, I put it in the back of my mind. So I can't say, oh, yeah, it was wrong. And my mother was really, you know, she knew that. And so I wonder, you know how my parents are, how could you do this? Like, so the parents out there, it's like, to me, half the thrill is that we are doing this, or I'm doing this to you, and it's right up on the nose. Like, say, for example, I've been like, I'm not gonna say a dinner date, but I've been out with people, like couples or whatever, and I might have been there by myself and not with anybody at the time. This is going back years, but there was an incident that happened where there was a woman who sat next to me who was part of a couple. There's 3 couples and I was by myself. Not because I was actually by myself, because the person I was with couldn't make it. So don't worry about it. Come on with us anyway. The woman sitting next to me couldn't keep her hands from between my legs under the tablecloth. And I'm like moving it away, like I was shocked. And it wasn't like, oh, I was with it, but I wasn't going to make a scene because I knew the tsunami of stuff that would have happened. And I knew that she would have played innocent and made me the one who was bad.
Exactly.
Well, you were touching me too. Or you're lying. I didn't touch you. You couldn't keep your hands off me. You know, I was like, okay, I'll just never really be around them no more. Cause like, that's wrong, right? I mean, I was a wild something, but it wasn't where I'm gonna do something to no friends of mine and mess with their woman. I don't do it. Look, if you have a sister and you're my friend and you have a sister that's on me, like telling me and showing me and look good, but I'm not doing it. That's something I can't do. I can't do that. If you're a man that had an old girlfriend that I knew the both of you when you're together and you're broke up and 5 years went by, 10 years went by. If you see me talking to her or you see her in the car with me, it's only because she needed a ride home. I am not. And my closest friends know that. They know they don't have to worry about me around their people. You know, now, if I didn't know you back then, if I didn't know you now, that's just being young and dumb. But no, I can't do that. Some people are grimy. I am not grimy like that. I've never been grimy like that. And people can say, well, you were grimy doing what you did when you jumped out of windows. Yeah, that's a form of griminess, but that I'm up under around my friend and I'm hitting this woman or trying to hit on the woman or the sister or whatever. No, they're to be protected. I'm on your side, man. I'm there to protect. We're part of a crew. There's enough beautiful, gorgeous women and some who are not as beautiful and gorgeous who do things real good. There's enough of them out there that I can do something with.
Right.
And it's clean, clear.
You know, it's interesting that I'm seeing a lot of the comments in the chat, but it's not even about that. It's about the cultures where the father, it's okay for the father to be the first one to get with his daughter because that's his way. I don't even understand the logic, but he has to be the first man to touch her, to be with her. And that's a cultural thing.
I don't care. I'm still whipping his ass. Just, I can't see that. I can't. I don't care about no culture. I understand what you're saying because I've heard that and,
Yeah.
But no, like me, I don't care if it's a culture thing. That's not right. Well, who are you in that part of the world? That's where it is. No, listen, if you do that, don't do that. I mean, who would do that around me?
But you see, here's another thing. Because we're here and we're talking about it from the vantage point of Western civilization, quote unquote, and as far as we're concerned, in Western civilization, that's unheard of, that's uncalled for, that's wrong. What do you do? What do you do with cultures and peoples who they're marrying off their young girls at 8, 9, 10, to whatever it is, for family reasons, to keep two families from warring with each other, or to bring more wealth and so on and so forth, increase the wealth, increase the strength of the tribe, whatever.
Right.
And these men that they're marrying them off to, they're not, for the most part, sometimes they're young boys also. Like they'll ceremonially marry off two children, but they won't put them together until they've come of age, right? But then you have those that are giving their young girls to these older men. And a lot of times these older men have to wait until that child hits puberty, until she starts to menstruate, where now she's in childbearing age. But that's normal for them. There's nobody saying that that's wrong. How could you're violating, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But and then okay, now we're in the age where you can travel, and you can experience new worlds, and you come into a Western civilization culture, and you still want to practice those things. Now you're in the wrong. Now you're clearly in the wrong. No, you can't bring that here, because that's unheard of.
That's right.
So as we're talking, we're talking from this vantage point.
Right.
But we have to recognize that there are many places where it's normal. And it's not taboo, and it's not wrong. It's not, how could you?
Right. Well, there's something that is not going to develop all the way with someone who, just because, like, you take the meal out of the stove or the oven 10 minutes early and you can eat it, doesn't mean it's completely done. Just because a young girl begins to have a menstruation cycle happen, it doesn't mean she's emotionally prepared.
No.
To be, it's part of the process. It's part of the process, because she can physically have a child.
Yeah.
Is she ready for that? No, she's not. Is she ready to deal in a full relationship? You see, but a lot of these countries, it's dominated by the male thought, like they're in power. It's about them. And so there's no consideration for the female. I don't want to say girl, because girl sounds funny saying that in the same sentence.
Right.
She's not a woman yet. She's beginning to have her body is saying it's ready, but let her fully develop emotionally. But see, they don't believe in some cultures. We're speaking this with broad strokes. In those types of cultures, like I said, it's not about the woman. To heck with you. It's what I want. You're bleeding? Okay, you can have children. That means, no, look, you wake up in the morning from a deep sleep. You've been up for 90 seconds. Does that mean you can get up and go run 5 miles? You can if somebody's chasing you with a gun, but you need to warm up. You need to get into your day. You need to feed yourself. You need the process. So just because, and I look at this little girl here on the banner, and to put that word pedophilia below her, and to show her with a tear in her eye, and I put the teddy bear right next to her, representing an innocent little girl with her teddy bear. But how does a teddy bear look when you've been violated? How does the world look when you're a little girl or a little boy when you've been violated? This secret that you walk with, that when you begin to show signs on purpose that you've been violated, you may have a family that's in denial and push this away. and let you know through their verbal and nonverbal cues that you better shut up and don't bring that up. And now you feel like the bad person. And you walk with this, and you may find someone your age or someone else who is more receptive to feeling your pain. And then you have to be careful, because they may be receptive and the same thing happen again. Not that I'm saying that it would, but you're vulnerable and you've been broken. But again, it's not your fault, and there's nothing wrong with you. And so many families have secrets like this, and they do not talk about it. When that uncle who ran through the family's kids, or maybe just one, when he dies, lots of times realize and take note of who didn't go to the funeral. You see what I mean? That's a silent protest of what happened. Where's Shirley? I don't know. She's supposed to be here. This is her uncle's funeral. That may trigger off a scene if she did force herself to come. Why are you so late? You know this is your uncle. He loved you. Oh, really? Then why was he raping me? See, at the funeral, 30 years later. And nobody gives that woman any resistance verbally, because they all knew it was happening. That's part of the dysfunctional Black family's code of ethics. You don't talk about it. We've been so used to getting the physical lashes on our back and seeing twisted things happen to us that we learn to swallow pain. Internalize it, keep it in, because you can't change it. And so now when we've been set free, and we're not free, you know that, you and I know that. But when you've been set free to a point that you can work a job and live a certain way, come on, but we're not free. That other stuff you put to the side and just let it go away. Like wearing a size of a shoe, 2 sizes too small, but you don't want to be the troublemaker and say, mommy is too tight, daddy is too tight. Then later on, your feet are hurting, and they say, why? Well, my feet are too tight, or the shoes are too tight. Well, why didn't you tell me? Because you didn't want to upset the apple cart, because they had to leave the mall real soon.
Hello.
Yeah. So it's just so many dynamics to this, and
I know when I told my mother, told my mother, she was, because I told her when I was an adult. I mean, and I wasn't violated, thank the stars in heaven, but certain things were put to me, and it messed me up for a long time. It really messed up, because you just, once again, you blame yourself. As children coming up, you don't know, because it's always don't talk, don't say anything, blah blah blah. So you blame yourself for even allowing yourself to go along with anything. And when I recognized, and I didn't recognize that it wasn't my fault until I heard the Oprah show. And when I heard Oprah talking about it, and other people expressing certain things, that's when it opened my eyes to realize, oh my God, it's not me, because that person had no damn right to even go where he went, or say or request or do anything of that nature, But when I told my mother, I don't even know, knowing the person that she is, I don't even know why the hell I expected any other response, But basically was like, well, it gone already. And nothing you can do about that now.
That's a damn problem, though.
That is a damn problem. That is a damn problem.
But let me tell you something.
Because you don't validate me as a child, as your child. That how could this son of a bitch, but because of who the person is and the proximity to our family, very close proximity, it's like, oh, well, it gone. Oh, Jesus
See,
Christ.
that's that minimizing shit. Excuse my
Mm-hmm.
French.
Mm-hmm.
And see, lots of times it happened to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's so much I can say it, but there's certain people I don't want to put out there. Like, okay, Mrs. Scurv made her little video about the experiences she had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say. It's
Right.
not about her, but in life, let's put it this way. In life, you'll finally speak to the people who are around you and raised you, and they'll, first thing, well, it happened to me.
Yeah.
It's her talking right now. What you mean?
Exactly.
So, okay, she's supposed to sit down and shut up because it happened to you? But that means you didn't even voice your thing all these years, so that don't make it all right. Oh, it happened to me. No, it's not all right. You sideways saying. And she had I'm gonna say it, she had an aunt. She listens to the show, and I don't give a damn if you listening. And I want you to say something so I can cuss your ass out. When she said this to her, well, it's the past.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that, I don't hit women, I want to smack her.
Mm-hmm.
So you want me to put this somewhere? Oh, no, the scars remain. It affects you in your adult life.
Mm-hmm.
It takes from her what she's supposed to give to her man. And there are many women who can't give that because it was taken from her. Like the young lady who we played around with each other. It was a mutual thing. But when it came time for intercourse,
couldn't happen.
She wanted me to do it. She said she was enjoying it, whatever, but she couldn't respond because something reminded when it got to that point. So she wasn't really enjoying herself all the way. She cut off like that. And I said, listen, I can't. I'm okay. What about you? Don't you want to? Yeah, but if you can't enjoy this, I can't enjoy it.
That's right. That's right.
Don't be doing nothing to me that you think I like, that you going against your grain. I'm big on that. You got some guys say, well, I'm going to get what I can get. No, if you're not in it, I'm not in it. If you're not turned on, that turns me off.
Right.
Because it's going on in your head, and I don't want to take you there.
Exactly.
You got to be considerate that way. As a man, you have to look at those signs when you're with somebody, whether it's a dedicated, committed relationship or something. If she thought enough of you to give you her body and you see something wrong, you befriend her in different ways. I don't care if it was a booty call. You help her to come to a place where, I just can't. No. And that whole thing, oh, it's the past. That's that family secret thing. No. And then you also have those who act out, who chastise the adults in the family for not doing anything.
Right.
I know families where they grew up in a very strict Caribbean home. And I don't mean to say it doesn't happen in America, but when they are strict, they strict. Jamaicans and stuff, and they strict, and they know what's going on. And they ignore it. And when one of the sons comes out, because of the circumstances, again, I'm not going to get into the argument. You'll have somebody, well, all gay men were molested, all lesbian. I'm not saying that. But in them situations when it happened, you mean to tell me that didn't have an effect?
Exactly.
When you have a young boy who, under the care of one of the religious elders and they go somewhere into town. We're talking about back in the day, there was no cell phones. Wasn't let me call you and see where you are. Wasn't any Facebook location GPS thing to find out where you are.
Exactly.
You could live a mile away down the road. We didn't have those things. You could be by a window doing something you shouldn't do, and you keep going in confidence because you don't see them coming down the road. Oh, here they come. Let me stop. Let me tell you something. There was a church that the old girlfriend of mine who I was with all those years, her family went to, and she had a developmentally delayed sister who had, by what they said, this knockout body. She wasn't straight, she was just a little slow, okay, in her development mentally. She had kids. They never knew who the fathers were because they would come over and get a hold of her. Now, this wasn't a molestation thing, but this is to show you how some men can be. Specifically this story, people say, well, women do it too. I know that. I experienced that myself when I was a kid. But in Jamaica, you had this big church. And everybody, damn near everybody went to the church and all the houses were empty. Everybody left, whatever. If you're sick, you stayed home. But, church was the thing. Mm-hmm. You better come to church. And we know back in the days of being enslaved that the slave master didn't watch over us as much. He had his man in there. That's why we put our fingers up to walk down the aisle to go to the bathroom. Because of the white man who was making sure you weren't planning anything revolutionary. But, church was there and that was the culture. You get up, that meant damn near the whole day. You might come home, but you're going right back. You're in that parking lot, you're taking time, whatever. It was a whole day thing. So this developmentally delayed sister who was not 12, who was not 8, who was not even 17, she was in her early 20s. And she couldn't, she wasn't like, you can talk to her, have sensible conversations, but you knew something was off about her. She was very slow. They get horny too. But it wasn't that she was initiating things. The word got around that she just never said no. Right. And I know, and I'm not just throwing off on Jamaican men. Them two-faced Jamaican men from back in the day who are holier than thou, they would try you. They try you if your husband was close by. They'd say something off the mark. It depended on how you responded, and they would keep on going. Right. Because I know men like that. And that was my experience observing different men on how they tried women. Their wife goes to the bathroom and they're sitting there in a room. They're passing to visit this lady, and the wife has to go use the restroom. And the husband, knowing that she can't hear, the lady might have just woke up and have something that had a plunging neckline. And he might bust out, them breasts look good, You know what I mean? And depending on how she responds, he knows it's on and popping. She might say, so you like what you see? You like what you see? He knows he's going to bring that wife home and come on back. We will have this conversation at another time and wink at her. A lot of things going on undercover. So why is it that a lot of the elders in the church, and this didn't happen one day starting. This started to happen and the word got out where maybe one of the elders in the church went by to pick somebody up there and realized that nobody was home. I don't know how, I'm just telling you how it ended, and she came to the door and she was good for that. She came to the door really dressed, not dolled up with garter belts and push-up. They didn't have that in poor parts of Jamaica back there, She might have just came there with a really short t-shirt and she was built. I knew her. And then he gets in and found out that his little advances weren't resisted and he never made it to church that day. Well, the word got out. The ultimate, to wrap this story up, because I can tell you so much about that, was that the mother was at church and decided to go home a little early because she was really feeling sick. And so she had one of the church sisters bring her home who also had to leave a little early. And so she dropped her off by the corner, didn't drop her off it worked out this way. Because she had to walk down like 3 houses. I said, no, just drop me here, I'll walk in. And this is after that whole thing developed. Wouldn't you know that she went and saw about maybe 8 of the church elders and members sitting in her living room while the church service was going on because they took turns going up in the room with the daughter.
Stop it.
Yeah. I wasn't there, but my old girlfriend told me. They were, and so here they are, and most of them were sitting there with the Bible in their hand while the church service was going on because, she's giving it away. Really? Well, I'm going back over there because I know ain't nobody going to be there when church is in session. And it got out of hand because everybody wanted to get their piece. And because she was developmentally delayed and this thing felt good and she didn't talk much, come on, let's go. She tried me one day, walked in front of me a certain way. And I told her, I said, listen, you better put some clothes on. And her sister, who I was going out with, was like, no, you don't do that with him. But she because she was off a little bit, she was a victim. Yeah. But she wasn't off, but she couldn't control herself. Sex is a very powerful thing. And you don't have much. You're bored. You have some kids that you're taking care of them. And you're not really taking care of your babysitting because your parents are the ones that are financing and subsidizing. So you're home all day bored. Your mind ain't right all the way. So what you gonna do? They try you. It feels good. Oh, it feels good. When I worked in the prison, in the jails, dudes masturbated all day. They had nothing else to do in their mind. They go back up in their cell, or they had what some of us call a rolling masturbation. Like they didn't whip it out and do it. They just kept squeezing themselves, touching, and then when they were ready, they go and release. Like, damn, weren't you doing that earlier? Damn, what you're not supposed to do within sight of anybody. Right. I said, is that what you do all day? Right. It's crazy. So back to the topic somewhat, we run away from what we see should be. And don't think because you're quiet that you won't be responsible on a karmic level, an afterlife level, whatever it is. I'm not saying I'm talking religion. You ain't getting away from not addressing this, because that gift of a child that you have depends on you for your protection. Now, my parents left me with my cousin, my older cousin. I really don't charge them with that because she was so convincing. But even when they're convincing, we know these days, no. You got cameras up where you are. They better not leave my sight. If you have to go into an emergency ahead of time, you got children, you lead them with somebody, you have cameras in there. They in front of the camera, you call them. Like, yo, I don't see you. You let them know. Because it takes only one time.
I never let my children out of my sight.
It just takes one time. Even if children are curious, they see something they never saw before, and they're going to stare. Right. A man is in there in the next room who you halfway trust, and you go out in the backyard to do something real quick, and he whips out his penis, and the little 3-year-old is just staring like, what's that? I knew a young girl who, she was a child, and she always used to talk about this stick man. When my old girlfriend and I ran this beauty salon, and her mother was one of the regular customers. And so I told her, in front of everybody, I said, is stick man because I kind of had a feeling like stick man. I said, is it a superhero that I never heard about? No, it's this man. I call him Stick Man. I didn't push it. So after a couple of weeks, I said, could you draw a Stick Man for me? She drew a stick figure with a long stick coming from the crotch. I told her, you need to investigate this some more. I'm not traumatizing this kid, but I sniffed it. And we can't put it in our mind because, many parents feel like if this happened, I failed. And so they'll go in denial, or it's a call to action. You got to break that cycle. And the people who have that in their heart, they need to know. They need to see you overreact sometime. That's a warning signal. I don't mean that you could never overreact in that situation. But sometimes you got to send a message and put it in their head. You might be watching a television show together, and it bothers you. Maybe family members, whatever. You overreact and get up and say, damn it, I'll kill somebody. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a show Make them, and I have this in my heart, I better lay off. It's just like people that I know. When you move into a new neighborhood, right? I'm not saying to do this, but I've heard people say this who had the hood DNA in them, right? They would say, so a friend of mine told me one time, he said, listen, you know, we just moved to this neighborhood, right? You know, and it's a big improvement from where we was, right? I'm telling you, right? Tomorrow night, you know, when the move is done, I'm gonna walk around the property, whatever. When nighttime come, I'm gonna let off a couple shots in the ground. You know why he did that? He's letting everybody know. I got something for you if you come up in here.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? I got something for you. And you go out there, did you hear gunshots? The neighbors, yeah, where was it coming from? When they know it came from him. And his response let them know, you want to come up in there? I got something for you.
Exactly.
And you do that in every situation. I don't mean like a gun, but you let people know when they're measuring you, because ain't no damn pedophile gonna do something where he knows that they're on the lookout for this thing. And when certain things ain't right, you straighten them out on the spot. That's the problem with us. Oh, I know she's sitting in his lap, but that's her uncle. I got children. And the closest sitting on my lap was on the end of my knee in front of their mother. If the mother wasn't around, they coming up off the knee. And I'm their father. And that's not in my heart. Look, continue on with the Lance Scurv show if I end up killing somebody, because even though they're grown, I mean, they're grown now, but they violate them, force them to do anything, whatever. Or if they were younger, that's a wrap.
Oh, yeah.
That's a wrap. And I'll be honest about
Without a doubt.
I'll go down to where it is and like, okay, I'm not going to run from you. I know you devils will lock me up. You want to lock me up anyway. Well, listen, I'm proudly incarcerated. Do what you want, because I did what I did, because that person's not around no more.
That's right.
I'm happy with that. Because I want my children to see that the father we were supposed to do. It can't stop what happened in the memory of what happened, but you know what? Daddy took care of business. And I'll miss them and want visits, but I'll be at peace.
But they'll be proud of you.
Get away with that from me. See, I don't care if you give me the finger on the road or cut me off and give me the finger. I'll let that slide, because you're probably living a miserable damn life anyway. But you're not going to do certain things and think you're going to get away with it with me. No, certain things, I will go to the end. You'll think I'm your personal Terminator. I will be coming after you until I get you, and everything else in my life will cease. If you call me, there's no show going on. You call me and call me and call me. He's not answering. Email him, he's not answering. I would answer you. Something happened back in the States. I'm not going to wait till I get a ticket. I'm going to the airport. I'm getting some standby. I'll live there. I'll be funky, and after 2 days, I'm going to get out there and do what I do. I try to come back. That'll be the ultimate revenge. If I was living there and something happened, I'm doing it. And that's not tough talk.
That's real talk.
Even shows I've seen on TV where certain things that happen, man, I'm balled up crying. Make me want to get the person that did the thing to the next person's child, because nothing going to happen in my watch. You ain't coming to me, Lance, you talk all this shit. Why didn't you do anything? I'm going to do it and tell what I saw. And I put that out there. And I always put that out there. You doing something like that? I don't care. I don't care if you're the child of a next door neighbor who I can't stand. I'm not going to say, well, it's their kid. I can't stand so well. I don't care. No, it got nothing to do with you. And that's what we need in our community. And this is why they're trying to get rid of us as black men, as the sentinels and protectors in our community, and replace it with something else.
Exactly.
That's why they want the daddy. The daddy is going to be the state. The state is going to take care of your kids and do with the kids as they want, and push them in foster homes where things happen all the time like that, and disconnect the family and target us for extermination.
Wow. See, that's another aspect we didn't even touch on.
Yes.
Just the foster care situation and the atrocious things that happen to our young children in foster care. That's a whole nother show. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So this is why I say on any particular topic, we got to go in with surgical precision. And basically, what the aim was today was to speak about families. So we went off here and there, and we had to give examples.
Yeah.
We just can't say, well, in many Black families, they don't speak on things, whatever. End of podcast, end of show. No. We'll vibe and talk, and then we're going to zero in more. We'll regularly talk about this. I'm not going to say, well, every Thursday we're going to be. No, it may come up in 3 weeks. We may see something in the news and bring it back up again. We did that Brother Polite show. And then the next day we did the R. Kelly show.
Yeah.
Not the R. Kelly show, but we focused on that. But it's two different situations. So we speculated with Polite, because I don't know if he did or didn't, and we spoke about, well, the if he did part was short. I'll come up and throw away the key, that's it. Now, if he didn't, and then people came on later in the show, you talking about if he didn't, so you condoning that?
Right.
Another part ain't gonna take long.
Because he's guilty.
Yeah,
Death to the guilty. That's
I'm not boosting a religion or boosting a culture, but look at like some Islamic places, states, countries. They do a lot of dirt over there. And I know over there too, things happen, but the ones they catch and kill, or if you steal something and they're going to chop your hand off, you know how that is a deterrent to stealing? Like, you ain't chopping my head off. And some who have the balls to still try to steal when you know what the consequences are. See, whatever it may be as a violation, even if it's pedophilia, whatever, let them know what the consequences are. Let them know that this will be done. Give them examples of that. Let them see that this happens. And they ain't going to do it, or if they do it, they really have a death wish.
They do.
They really have a death wish. And we need more of that. To hell with the white man's law. We need more of us in our communities running things. Even to the ultimate.
That's right.
And I hate to say that played out term when they say we need to be on code, because that just sounds so conscious community to me. But we need to move as one, even beyond our differences. Certain things don't need to go to the so-called authorities that want to kill us off anyway. We need to take matters into our own hands. When we know what it is, when you're caught red-handed and there is no doubt, you take it whichever way, because on YouTube they'll say, well, he's telling people to go do this and do that. No, I said you take it the way you want, but we need to be swift. And that would prevent dozens and dozens of others who have the same thing in their heart, because these people, they're brazen. They're brazen. See, when you cut the lights on in a roach-infested house and you go into the kitchen and you see the roaches scrambling, they're running because they know you're there, and there's a consequence to being exposed and crawling all over the place. They're running for darkness. They know that they can get killed. And so many of these predators move so bold.
Yes, indeed.
Because you can see the signs, some of you, and you ignore it because it breaks the illusion of what you want to be in this fairy tale, Disney-fied existence. No, that can't be happening. Are you serious? It is happening. You don't want it to happen. But if it is happening, you need to face it. Don't turn around and say, it's the past. What if I balled up my fist and hauled off and punched the flavor out your mouth? What did you do that for? Oh, that was like 5 seconds ago. That was the past. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it was 15 years, 50 years. You know, you got people who are 65 years old, or let's just say 70 years old. Let's just pick a number. But 60 years ago, this happened to them. And they've been walking with this their whole life.
Yeah.
And you see in their spirit, you see how they walk. not the actual stride, but you see there's something missing. Everybody may be joyous for a time at a function or a good laugh or whatever, and they might laugh, but they never can. They can never completely let go. What is it that you're holding on to? I mean, it doesn't have to be that. They could have seen a parent tragically killed right in front of them when they were a child, and that's trauma too. We understand that. It's not always going to be that. But in the culture, you have so many people, so many women, so many men who walk with this pain that was never dealt with, this trauma that was never dealt with, and it choked off part of their life. So I'm urging anybody who has gone through this. I don't care if you go downtown in the crowd, yell it out, or call up some people, talk to some people, disrupt the church service.
Get it out.
Damn near be over. Does anybody have anything to say? Stand up and tell it and name names if you can. Even if people been dead for 20, 30 years, 40 years. Tell it. Empower yourself. Sometimes we're not in a position to talk to, and I don't mean have a wonderful conversation with your molester, but to tell him how what that person did affected you, how it affected you, and what you did. Blow him up. Tell the world. Embarrass. You were, I don't want to embarrass. Look what he did to you. How come so many of us have Stockholm syndrome in these situations? Well, I don't want my mother to feel bad. My father, it's okay. No, it's not okay, damn it. You go through life, and this is not all, but you go through life and can't achieve orgasm. Because the moment you start to feel yourself building up, the cutoff switch happens mentally.
Yeah.
Not on that level, but we're talking about the cutoff switch. And this will give, I had that thing happen to me when I was young. And when I was around 17, 18, there was this young lady who was a little older than me. She was in my age group. I've been 21, 20. I was 17. That's not like so far. And I'm not saying she pushed up on me, but she looked good and everything. It just never clicked. And I was quite busy otherwise. But one day I was walking down her street, not because I was trying to run into her, and she was sitting on the steps. And I kind of took the long ways of where I was going because I was free that day. And she was still a nice person, but it just never clicked, and I kind of avoided like her. She looked really good now. Most guys, what you talking about? So I sat there with her for a while. She asked me some things and all this stuff, and somehow, and it wasn't where I knew, but I was going along with it. She had a phone call or something, and she told me to come on in for a little while because I was going to go to the store, and she said she was going to walk with me. I wasn't repulsed by her presence. I was quite proud to walk next to such a beautiful looking lady. It just wasn't that kind of vibe.
Right.
But I, as a young man, was a little aroused on my own, had nothing to do with her. And so when I went inside, she had something, I forgot what it was she offered me. She was a clean person. And I'm sitting there eating and everything, and I ended up in her bedroom. I wasn't thinking like she's going to really she pushed up on me, but it wasn't like, I got to get away or whatever. She ain't going to make me do something I don't want to do. I was in the bedroom, and then, she locked the door. I could have pushed her away and unlocked the door. I'm like, what is she doing? So then, she started praying. And what I mean, she was on her knees. Well, that was a wrap. And we did stuff unprotected. And when I was about to pull out, foolish, because, the clear stuff can get you in trouble too. We know that. And I knew that. I was like, oh man, this feels good. I don't really want to, but I did it. Us men, we can do stuff like that. We do stuff like that. Not thinking about the consequences. So now we did that the one time, and it wasn't like I was trying to do that and never do it again. I didn't have no intentions of doing that. I wasn't even thinking about it. Was good the way it felt at the moment. But when that moment came, just like I was about to, she wrapped her legs around me tight.
Oh, wow.
He's bigger than her, stronger than her. But it felt so good. I was like, oh God, this feels so good. I tried to resist. I just let the waters flow. Now I'm screwed up in the head. Oh man, why did I do that? I'm not interested in this girl.
Right.
So soon after, she was telling me, weeks later, I got the call, my friend didn't come this month. I was like, oh man. And I was tormented. Ridiculed in the neighborhood. She looked good now. Oh, I don't mind, man. She was fine. I would have went in there trying to bust up in it. So some guys think if you have a child, they give you a child, you're theirs forever. That connection wasn't like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm a young guy. I will be responsible. That's the way I was raised and everything like that. But it was like, oh man, I felt so stupid. I felt so mad. And she was happy. She was just telling everybody.
She was happy. That's why she did what she did.
Yeah.
That's why she held on to you.
Yeah. So I went through this torment all these months. A torment, not that I didn't want to be responsible, but I messed up because I dropped my guard and the friction got good. Come on, man. I'm 17 years old. What do you expect? So went through the whole thing to come to find out that child wasn't mine. Come through the whole thing to find out, or I found out, because she never worked. I never questioned that, way back then, 1980. She was a prostitute and she was pregnant from her pimp and she wanted a good guy to be the father of her kid. Yep. You quiet over there. What's up? You still with me? And Priscilla G? Well, I still see her here. Maybe she's muted or something. I don't know. Maybe she fell off the chair in shock. Yeah, let me text her to see what's going on. And Priscilla G, did you fall off the chair and knock your head? No, that's serious if you did. I'm just making fun of something, but let me see. Okay. Are you still there? I know I tell a lot of shocking things that I have yet to make public. And Priscilla G, we can't, I don't know what happened. I'll just keep talking. Yeah. So that was some trauma. So needless to say, I had a period of maybe 2 or 3 months. Okay, yeah, she left out to come back in. Little glitches happen sometime. And then when I found out that the double life, because she would always be home in the day and live this, she had this way of, like I'm this innocent person, whatever. She was going out to Brooklyn at night and working the streets. So that could have, and that was before a lot of this stuff was floating around and can kill you, but I could have caught something. What about the spiritual aspect of it? Her doing that, what a vicious person you are. No, that's vicious. I was a tank back then, but I don't manhandle women. And I was like, whatever. Okay, you want to do that? Go ahead. In my mind, like whatever. Then it got to a point, but that was her plan. That's why my spirit initially didn't take to her. Now I'm not going to demonize all women and say they're all looking to do that, but I've been very careful after that. And I was still wild in my later years, in my 20s, but I was very careful because that traumatized me. Not that I didn't want to be responsible, but it was like I wasn't ready for it. But look, I did it. So I couldn't throw off on anybody, but now I understood. You see what I mean? So we got to be more responsible. And that's off the topic, but I just wanted to say that. I don't know why I told you that story, but
okay, I'm back.
Yeah, and I know I was calling for us. If you listen to the replay, I'm like, Empress, are you there? Did you fall off the chair and knock your head? Because I didn't hear any, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Did you say something that was worthy of oh my God? Because I'm so pissed
you heard
if
the
I
story
missed
about
that.
the young lady who, she had some strong thighs, I guess. So they were worked out a whole lot,
Oh
when she
yeah,
went
the
to
one with the
Grammy.
prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
was
friends.
responding, but I guess you weren't
Oh,
hearing
okay.
me. Yes.
Yes,
Oh
Sandra, thank you
boy.
so much for your kind words. And I'm glad that
And now I'm
enjoying.
on my phone, and I have to be careful because this is where I have the end broadcast button at the bottom right. So
Oh yes, be careful, right?
I'm just gonna close my phone.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right. Yeah, but we have to share. We have to share our personal experience. This is not for everybody to really tell their business or whatever, but somehow share it in some circle of yours. Even if you go around strangers, you have to have the feeling of getting this off. There need to be forums out here for our sisters and brothers, for people who are stolen Africans, melanated people, because the way we got it in a double way. You see on these documentaries and you go on YouTube and, people, why are you bringing up racism? Trauma is trauma. But we got double and triple doses of trauma because your ass, what y'all did to us to have us freaked and even doing the things that we're doing. When you took men who they're Africans, but they've been here for several generations, so they've morphed into something else, but they still have that sense of morale. But you like to break that down. That's why they say parasite, because you suck from what's there. You don't want anybody to have anything vibrating above what you can comprehend. So it's your parasitic job to go and tear it down. And so now you're getting a thrill from taking big, strong men and tying them down and torturing them. What kind of sick mind is that? What kind of spiritual inoculation is that we're suffering now because of what was done to us I'm not saying in a great way, like, oh, it's a great thing. No, in a great way. Meaning the size of it, it wasn't just, well, this happened. You see, we minimize things in history because you read the chapter, you say, okay, if that happened, and you go home or you go to bed, and no. Imagine in your whole life, you as a man or you as a woman, you laying in the shack with your man. And because the slave master's penis got hard and his sick mind is at work, he don't even knock on the door. Not that you should when you have it in your mind. He just busts on because you property. You know better than a pig.
Right.
I'm not calling you that, but you are property. Don't care if you on your period. He gonna jam you anyway. They like blood, don't they? They like their steak rare. They like the griminess of it. Spiritually sick. And unfortunately, we get soul ties with a sick person.
That's right.
That's sick.
That's right.
The pedophiles, if the pedophile really had a sickness, look, when you sick on a physical level, you got the flu and you got to sneeze, you don't hide and run and sneeze. You cover your mouth, hopefully, but you sneeze.
Exactly.
You have a sickness and it's accepted that you will sneeze. Well, how come no pedophiles at the family barbecue whip out and start trying to have sex with your child? Because they know it's wrong. That ain't no sickness. They know. They move in secrecy and darkness. And it depends on your silence and your need to have normalcy, a normal looking life. So I'm going to protect this. So you end up being the protectors of the pedophile by the way you act, and you just as guilty. Oh, it's the past. You making some damn excuses for something so sick because it happened to you. You think because what happened to me with my older cousin that I can't see, there's trauma there.
Yeah.
And it affected me in a way that even in my adult years, I still kind of like that scenario, but it was done to me.
Right.
It made me promiscuous for a time. I was straight reckless. I went through a period of life where in the years, I wouldn't say no. Mm-hmm. I'd never said no. Mm-hmm. And why was I like that?
Right.
You see? Because whether you realize it on the conscious level, the subconscious mind knows everything. So if you can't get into your own subconscious mind, just ask yourself, why do you do the things that you do? And trace it back. And you'll find out in your deepest meditations. Mm-hmm. But this whole hierarchy of looking the other way, well, guess what? They had to do it in the enslavement days, or you will die. Mm-mm. Could you imagine a man laying in his bed with his wife?
Yes.
White man yanks her out and don't even, well, I'm going to go, I'm not going to torment you. I'm going to go and screw her in my house. That ain't happening, man. But he going to go right there, treating your wife like a pig and stripping you of all your manhood.
Yep.
Stripping you, and you got to see this cracker. Pull up what is yours to expose it to the world and go up in her. Now she's more than just that, but that's yours, man. We committed.
Makes you want to cry. Oh my God.
And to you, she's nothing but nothing better than a sheep or a pig. That's why you screw sheeps and you screw pigs and you mess with animals and you mess with anything and you mess with each other. Could you imagine the unseen soul ties, whether it's voluntary or not? You transfer the sexual energy, whether you didn't want it to happen, it's still on you and in you. You can reject the pleasure that should come from a specific act, but the transferal is made. For hundreds of years, we talk about the trauma of slavery, but many of us don't talk about that part. So why is it that it's not so hard for things to come out and be, oh, I'm gay and I'm born this way with it? Man, you walking with these spirits on you. And again, I'm not making excuses for anybody. But studies have shown, and I can't tell you exactly where, but I have a friend of mine who would always be into these different studies. In our conversations, he's a little older than me. He would tell me things, and I would hear it from different sources. But I don't have the paperwork to prove it to you, but it makes sense that whenever any animal, most animals know they're about to die.
Yeah.
And they have time to get away. Maybe there's a tiger outside the cave that he's waiting there for you. And you're going to have to eat eventually. And there's another, female or male, you start having sex because really it's nature's way of trying to have you procreate and increase your numbers because you're under the shadow of death. I don't know how that worked though. Tiger will chew you. Nobody gonna live, right? But why do you think that I'm not making excuses for black men or black women, but take a situation where you might be in one of the worst hoods. Let's make it extreme to prove the point. You have a lot of lovely people who live in the hood, a lot of decent people in the hood who are of high moral value. They're just passing through that area. So I'm not throwing off on anybody, but a person who is basically that person who's living a hopeless life that doesn't see beyond that area, that mindset.
Moment.
See, wait to get my check, girl. My man locked up again. And his esteem is low, and you're hanging around people whose esteem is low, and you're braiding each other hair, and nothing happened around here. Oh God, you don't have the enthusiasm to know that you can live a better life. And this is something that, when you look at it, what is sex then? You bored. You ain't got no money. And this dude comes down, driving a nice car, and he sees you out there. You're halfway exposed because that's the fishing hook to catch the man. And so he gets out and raps to you because he feels like, yeah, I can have my way with these girls. What's up, girl? What's your name? So-and-so. He got the car out there. Now that represents hope. Like, man, look at that car. Not that our sisters would sell out, but it's like, I'm bored. I ain't got nothing to do. I got $6.77 until the next 3 days when my check comes. I got a little bit of food, but we got to stretch it. The ramen noodles, you know what I mean? And he talk about, can I come around later and bring y'all something? Yeah, I got you. What you want? To the other girls too. He's the savior. Then you get a little money. He drops a little, $50 on the table. What you think he's coming around for? You getting sleepy and look like he don't want to go.
That's so disgusting.
No, I'm telling you realities. I've seen it.
It's so disgusting.
And you ain't been with a man anyway, and you like certain things. So you tell him if you wanna stay, you can stay. And he comes into the bedroom and you have recreational sex. See? And you bored. And a lot of brothers who have hopeless lives, which no life is hopeless, but they think it's that way. And so there's nothing else to do. Hell, that thing feel good. And usually a child comes out of that because you ain't thinking. We can't handle another child, or we can't handle a child. Shoot, we got sentencing on Monday. I'm trying to spray up as many wombs as I possibly can. See, I'm giving you a peek into the mindset of certain people. Not all of us. Man, I know I'm gonna get 20 years. So that Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, you screwing up into the time, it's time to go down to the court. Because you know you ain't gonna come back for a long time. And by spraying up different women, you'll have a connection now when you have a child, because when you come out, she might be with somebody. The kid might be damn near grown, but you have a connection and a place to go just in case. See, the way many people think is not the way we think. So when things happen, you're shocked. But I've had years to sit down with guys who are incarcerated and get into their mentality. And I don't know anything more than anybody else. I've just been exposed that way and already knew pretty much before. It wasn't the job that gave me that. I brought tremendous insight to the job. I made the job what it was for me. This is just a paycheck. I don't give a damn about these niggas. Hey, Bill, pass me some of the Copenhagen, the Skull. They dip the stuff. So we have to really be careful what's really around us. Like
don't let me in.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Okay, it says
I know, don't let me in. I'm just
you said don't let you in, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get back on my computer, but I can't even get back there. I know I popped in, but I can't see it.
Yeah, but back to the other thing, like I said, what was done to us. People say, well, you're enslaved, you're free now. Are we really free when we got your cooties all over us on a spiritual level? You took a heterosexual strong man, you take the strongest and buck break them. A kid sees his father, don't know what this thing is, and knows that something happens righteously between a man and a woman, but you see this white man out and gets everybody out to watch. And he cannot be a man, this slave master,
right?
In front of everybody, in front of children, in front of everybody. First of all, how do you get hard in public when you got a black man bent over in front of you? How do you do this? I'm a hetero, so I can't see look, it was the most gorgeous woman with the most gorgeous backside. I can't do it in a way to violate in front of people. No. What kind of hell, if there's a hell, that's where you came from. If there's a hell, that's where you came from. We look at the movies and we see the demons and the ugly whatever. That's you, slave master.
Yeah.
And all who came after you, that's your damn bloodline. And now we want to have kumbaya moments with them and peace and love. And it's not all of them. You can't say that about all white people. You can't say, well, listen, it's them who put this thing on us.
That's right.
I'm supposed to act like I don't. You sneezed in my face and I got the flu, and I'm supposed to act like I'm not sick.
That's right.
You're wrong. And with the whole pedophilia thing, if they can do stuff like this and they see your young girl, the slave master, And they see a young boy, if they can screw a grown man in their ass in public while the sun's rays shine down on them, just to let everybody know this is what's going to happen to you if you disobey me. And they're sitting around and your child goes down the field to go get a watermelon and they don't come back, but they come back crying and bleeding between your legs, their legs, and you can't do a damn thing because you know it's death. Then give me death, because I'm not going to be going by myself. Me and the slave master going to be going on the way we're supposed to go on, but I know you ain't going to the same place that I'm going to. Kill me, because I'm going to kill you. You do that. Your property, so all the offspring are property. And they could sell your children off.
Yes.
They see, you know, little black kids develop in a way that little black white kids don't do. And so, you know, we see when our children are developing. But a righteous mind does not think of it that way. We see our young girls begin to develop, some earlier than us. It doesn't mean you have to violate that. If you're thinking that, you can see it like, okay, they're going to get older and they're going to be whatever. There should not be any kind of feeling toward them that way. And you go and you snatch a little girl up and do, look, when I went to the various slave dungeons, which some people call them castles, was no castle for us. And they say, and I'm going to say it again, and I want somebody to come into the comment section afterward on this video. Okay, I'm raising my table up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. One of my lights almost fell. It was too close.
Oh, wow.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I know you can hear when I do this. Okay, good. I'm going to stand up now. And they talked about...
Service just getting good?
No, but every single slave dungeon that I've been to 3 here. There's the one in Elmina, there's the one in Cape Coast, and there's the one here, you know, Sue, the area that me and Lazia were in when we videotaped, but you didn't see. Well, yeah, we were live on that show, right? But I haven't. I'll upload it later on. But in that same area, they had one there too. And in every one, they had an area where you can look down where the black folks, the Africans, were marched in. And if one of the girls or women had a nice shape, look, they would look. I went into, and the one of those suits to me hit me more,
right?
Because there was a little area a little door that might have been a little bit below my shoulder, so I had to get down on my hands and knees and go in it. And it was an area maybe about 100 feet deep. Do you think they had lights and air conditioning? And it was dirty on the ground, and they packed it in. And I said to myself, I had my GoPro, I had my camera, and I said, I'm going to go to the end of this. And it's something that I have to do, but I couldn't do it. I went 5 feet in, and something hit me. I'll tell you one thing on a physical level, it was so hot. I immediately began to just get drenched in my own sweat. And there was one little opening outside of that little 100 by 15 foot area it was dirty. I'm gonna have to dress a certain way and have gloves to go in there. And I'm gonna go in there so deep, I know I'm gonna feel like I'm passing out. So if nobody else was in there, and I felt that way 5 feet in, and had 95 more feet to go, how in the hell you think they felt when they packed that whole place like these with body heat? Many people just suffocated and died because they weren't going to lay you out single file. They packed you in. It's hard enough on a hot night if the fan don't work, your AC don't work, and you laying next to your mate. You're like, okay, I love you, but you kind of stay over there. It's hot.
Exactly.
And then you got the mosquitoes biting you up because that's a major attractant to them. A lot of the mosquitoes have malaria, and you suffering from that. Ain't no malaria medicine to take to knock that off. You gonna die. I had malaria. I know how bad that felt. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. Could you imagine? So now you come out of that, and they throw the food in and it goes 10 feet deep in. But what about the person 100 feet deep in that hole sweating to death? I wanted to drink so much liquid when I got out just from going in there for about 15 seconds. Right? So imagine you come out of that. If you live, did they pass sanitary napkins in for the women? Did they allow you to come out to wash? They only washed you when they were taking you out of there while the slave master was looking down to see who had the nicest ass, to see who had the most delicious breasts. And he would point to them. He'd just point, because everybody else who ran the thing knew what was up. Bring me them 3. And you better do what it is that he wanted to do. If he wanted something done to him that only toilet paper can do, get ready. I'm saying it that way. No, it was not pretty. And we need to talk about those things. While these things were going on, what do you think was being transferred?
I know.
I'm not trying to get gory and talk about the actual acts, but all these hundreds of years, you did these things to us and passed it down through generations and kept on us because of your property, and you transferred your sick damn demons on us.
That's what I said. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And you're right, Miss Peace. They treat their dogs better.
Yeah.
Look at the society today. They treat their dogs better because they have a connection. They're related. Look at their hair. Look how they like to eat their meat. Rare blood. Dogs who walk down the street when the little pink penis get hard, it'll hump on anything. They'll even hump on another dog until they realize there's no opening. And they'll keep humping until. See, and then you do this, and then when they're done, you send them back down. And at the same time, here's the catch. The ones who, I don't know what you'd call them, the ones who help to move along and work in the castle, the dungeon, you think the one who is on top running things and who's the one, that he's going to get mad when he sees you on the job doing something too? In their mind, get yours, buddy. You could do whatever you wanted to do. It was like, that's property that belongs to somebody else. And so, no. Right. So how many women made it across the Atlantic under those conditions with a white man's seed inside of her? See? And they get over there and they have the child and, oh, looks like somebody got to you. I wonder whose it is. Wonder if I know them. Your property. Your property.
This is a messed up world.
And they say the story's over. And you can't tell me that one of them spirits, one of them soul ties that were connected is not inside these pedophiles. There are some sick, hellish, and I'm not saying sick to say, oh, it's a sickness. No, you know what you're doing because you went and hid to do it.
Exactly.
You take 2 men, one who is of sane mind, and the other one is extremely developmentally delayed, super retarded, out of his mind, or that, he didn't do it to himself. He's no less than a human being. I understand that. And take the same picture perfect scenario with a man who is completely sane and has his full mind, went up in somebody's place and raped them. And you take that other person who is not right all the way, and they grabbed the woman and tried to rape her. He didn't know what he wanted to do. He just knew that this woman, he had an urge when he got away. And maybe he did rape her. But he didn't pull her in the bushes. He tried to do it right there in the street. It was nighttime. It's no less trauma to the woman.
Right.
And they both have to be punished. But I'm going to punish that man who is of sane mind more. Because you knew what you were doing. You knew the consequences. And that's why you pulled her behind the bushes.
Exactly.
We can't have the other man as a danger to society, to women. So I'm not gonna kill him or do this or do that. Put him away, man. Work on him. Have him under some, because he didn't know what he was doing all the way. Depending on how severe, could be like a little boy and he just wanted to see some titties. It wasn't the venom. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? You know, maybe I'm not saying it right. There's both. Yeah, okay. So that being said, there was another one in the Cape Coast slave dungeon.
Right.
And you had a way of punishing the ones who fought and rebelled, because there was a lot of that. See, they don't tell you that in history, that even in American soil, there were a lot of so-called slave rebellions, because they don't want you to identify with that, to know that it's possible that you can rebel against the system and win, or even die. But when you die fighting, you took a few of them with you, you won. Because you didn't my spirit. And that's why they like to see a black man and a black woman with their spirits killed. No drive. And if you have drive, you better be undergirding their system. Okay, you have a lot of drive, nigger. We need to see you in the military. That way your drive and aggression aids us. See?
Yes.
You all right then. And they still don't treat you any good when you come back. You come back with an ailment, with an injury, traumatized, and you got to fight like hell to get the little bit. Oh, I got to catch this call. I ain't going to mute it. All right, Assalamu alaikum, my brother. How are you?
Fine. How you doing over there?
Oh, man, we got to talk. I'm actually on a live show right now. So say hi into the microphone real quick. They can't see you.
Hello.
Yeah. We can hear you. I know you weren't expecting that.
Well, you know, it's so happy to talk to my brother Lance. He's still over there in West Africa. I'm still in Babylon.
No.
Oh, I just want to say, listen, everybody, you see the kind of brothers I talk to? I didn't tell them to say that. But brothers are the same mind. Go ahead, brother.
That's right, but wherever we are, we're still fighting a good fight for freedom, justice, and equality, because we have injustice against our people everywhere.
That's
and
right.
It's taking place at every level. If it's health, it's injustice taking place. Millions of people of African descent are dying unnecessarily because of the pandemic, and we still don't know where it really originated from.
Exactly.
And we really don't know the connections that the pharmaceuticals in the United States as well as in Europe that's playing on this. And one thing that's interesting, Brother Lance, about the pandemic is that sadly, Africa, the continent that you're on,
yes,
has failed to produce a vaccine. They have the money, they have the brain power, they have the scientists, but they haven't done so. While a country like Cuba, that has 11 million people, they have produced a very effective vaccine that is 96% effective. As right now, Johnson's, Moderna, Lilly Foundation, and others are now at a point of being 60% effective. That's produced in the United States, and now they're talking about a third and fourth jab.
Wow.
Those things are very interesting. What is taking place with our people? And that is, as that is going on, the economic situation in the Western Hemisphere has dropped to a level that even right now, they're thinking about now that the American currency may be null and void within 5 years. To be taken over by Fitbit, you see? And so we have that taking place. On another line that's taking place in the United States right now, looking for a conflict, you know, to change the minds and the trajectory of how things are. As we speak right now, there was a bomb that just went off in Kabul, right outside of the airport, and they're trying to claim that it's the ISIS or some other group that has caused it. You know, what I'm really thinking about it, that it may be the case of the Maine again that took place in the Spanish-American War, 1898, where an American ship was destroyed, and they blamed the Spanish, so the United States
so that we could get in.
That may be the case right now that's taking place. We don't know for sure, but it's something to keep your minds up. There are casualties outside the airport in Afghanistan.
Yes.
That just took place 10 minutes ago.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we really don't understand. But if we begin to ask the questions and raise a voice, we may be able to find some answers and then develop a protective unit that will help our people.
Yes.
Because things right now are very unstable.
Yes.
In the United States and in the war. You know, another report that came out 3 weeks ago, I don't know if you saw it, they stated that because of global warming, that there's a real issue that the human family may not be around in 300 years. We have 2 degrees that has gone up in about 15 years from now. They expect it to go up another 2 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Have heat in the world, which means more islands, more polar caps are going to melt.
And islands will disappear.
Yes.
Means more floodings. As this is going on, we have wildfires in California, in Japan, in Russia, all over the place. You know, so this is a very hectic time. Here's the last thing I'll make mention.
Oh, we're not rushing you, man. This is like candy to a fat kid. Before you say that point, brother, listen. You know, when you coming on, man, come on, man. You ain't gonna tease us like this. You know, go ahead. Make your point there, brother. Talk to us.
Man, another thing that's taking place, do you realize that the United States is just really in the last couple of years, but it's now being pushed, that they have endorsed the concept of liquefying dead people.
Oh,
my God.
Whereby, instead of using cremation or burial, right, they liquefy them and they put the remains in the drain. It just goes right into the drinking water.
No.
Right?
God.
That's right. And right now, what also is taking place is that Florida, as well as 38 other states, have pushed the bill through into law, saying that wastewater now can be utilized for drinking water. Just some chemicals, put some lye in it.
Oh,
wow. That's taking place right now, man.
Wow.
You know, so you actually drinking dead people.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
See, then here's another thing that is added to this. If you go to many of the cities, you know, Orlando, and you know, in Paramore, there were homeless people all over the place.
Of course.
You can't find them.
Wow.
You see that?
Wow. See that? Yeah. No, but I know right there in Paramore, right below Central and right below, what is the other street there? You know, the little overpass that's right there, they're gentrifying, right? Where everybody would sit under that overpass.
Yeah.
I noticed that
Church Street, that area.
Right, Church Street. But more and more, I noticed that there were less and less of them out there. Which could be a good thing you say when they got on their feet, but that area is gentrifying. Where do these people go?
Exactly.
Right? They got to go someplace, and every state now has passed a bill into law that states that if a person does not have any reliable relatives or no place to go, they can actually use that person for experimentation.
Oh, wow.
Governor DeSantis just signed this. While everybody's talking about the pandemic, he signed this. So therefore, if you're homeless, they take you away. They deem that you have some type of illness, which most homeless people do. All right. They can experiment, then they can get rid of the body and liquefying them. This is not made up.
Right.
And you know what's so interesting? Also, the other day I was looking at The Matrix. You remember The Matrix, the movie?
Oh, of course.
And when I first saw the movie, this part just went by it. That is, the AIs utilize liquidation of dead people to feed the infants that feeds the AI electrical cord.
Oh my God.
And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that sometimes the devil lets out some information, but most times you're not smart enough to know it at the time. So that kind of stuff is taking place, but I got so much to tell you.
Oh, come on, man. When you gonna drop it on us, man? This is Brother Issa Muhammad. For those who don't know, many of you who have been here with us for a while know. I know you're a very busy man. You travel the world over, and your words are like, and you keep up with things, and you are connected to so many people. Too many names to list, but this brother's a quality brother. He has been on the show when I was in Orlando, and we go back years, I'm proud to say. And it was Brother Issa Muhammad that allowed me to have a chance to meet Brother Akbar Muhammad, especially when you came over to my house. And, like I said, it's all good, brother. And when you get out here, I know you will be coming out here. I got some big surprises for you on some of the things that that I'm working on. So when can you come on? Are you available like right now for a few minutes? Or
no, I'm not. Okay. Right now, in fact, I'm doing some research on the COVID right now as we talk to you.
Okay. Right. And so I just want to tell you that it's a witch hunt on social media because the media works in tandem with the government and with this agenda that's going on. So when we do speak about this, we have to use certain code words. You know what I mean? Not that I'm afraid, but they tried early in the year to shut down this platform that has been really growing 3 times. And it was because of that. And the World Health Organization dictates the community guidelines on YouTube, and people don't know that. So, I have other platforms we can say anything we want, but on YouTube where the people are, and that's where we want to go to draw them in, and we go to the other platforms and to go with the knockout punch, and we can speak in an uninhibited way. So it's a lot of political games and strategies going on with our community as far as what we say to be and what we know to be truth, but we can't even express our opinions, right? Also know that the age of censorship big time is here, and most people don't even realize it. But they will allow you to put your woman up to twerk and show her body parts. They will allow you to put on lipstick and a wig and sashay down the street. They will allow you all the decadent things. But if you speak something of truth to expose what they do, they want to shut you down. So that's where they are now. You see?
It's so strange, right? I mean, they shut you down on truth, but they allow pornography.
Right. Exactly.
And all that type of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, let me get on. I have to go.
Okay.
Africa must be good for you. You're looking good.
I feel good, brother.
You look like you're back to the point of being a bodybuilder.
That's one of the surprises too, right? But brother,
really nice, man.
Well, see, like I can say that I can see.
My love goes.
Yeah, no, I saw.
My love goes to you and your family.
Yes.
And all the brothers and sisters who are there trying to help you.
Yes. And you have a full house here listening to your every word right now. Okay. So understand that. And like I said, I saw Father Time running down the street holding his mouth, and somebody had bust him in the mouth. And I realized when I talked to him, he said, "You did it. That's why you look so young. You never allow Father Time to get around you." Right. But whatever you're available.
Later.
Yeah.
And if you allow me to, I'd like to be a regular on your show like we used to.
Of course. You can show your face. You can be, I'll do the pretty banners and everything. And when I know you're busy, but I'm here. This is what I do. I told you years ago, I ain't never going to stop doing this, man. So look, I'm just going to tell the people who are on the show now listening, this was a private call, but he didn't know what he walked into, but he can't rehearse this. He didn't know. This flowed from him. So could you imagine when he does his research and comes with stuff and the way he delivers it, it's really like nutrition for the soul. You know what I mean? And it's so
right.
Later on, we'll have our private call if you're free for a little while, because this is
I'll call me in a couple of hours. I'm cool.
Okay, cool. No problem, brother. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe, when this is over.
One family, one familia.
Oh, yes, definitely. All right, my brother. Peace. All right. All right. See that?
See that? See that?
Birds of a feather flock together, and you wonder why I'm so fiery. I have people brothers and sisters from all over the world that share things with me. So sometimes I can tell you what this person said, and sometimes just trust me. My phone rings all day. I don't get every call, but there are people who, and this is why they come at me so hard, because he's a man of standing who can really, that phone call alone right there, just his line connected with mine, you know it's warranted because of who he is.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, I want to say all of, you know, connections and different things, and it's not me trying to sound like I'm big. I'm just a platform. I'm just a little guy who brings people together and keeps something going on this battlefield. If I'm to sweep the floors or just clean the toilets, I'm happy to do that as long as I can help. But a man who, he didn't know he was calling into a live show. Now, you know, I'm trying to trick him to come on. Like, I already started making a banner. I was like, come on. I would have gave him the link, you know, like I do. I mean, I could have made it really quick, you know, and then you would have saw him. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. So I stay on it like that. And even when we wrap down and soon, there's so much that we have to talk about on that level. But the one point that I wanted to make and I was leading up to, that while we were being raped and abused and there's one room there, or chamber, I'll say, at the Cape Coast slave castle.
Right.
And that room, that chamber was nothing but, they didn't have cinder blocks like that, but it's stone walls, stone floors. Do you think they went in there to sweep and say, well, we need to sweep it up? It was gritty. It was dirty. It might have been dried feces there that we saw. We saw feces there from people from hundreds of years ago that as it was going on for hundreds of years, it caked up and dried up. Caked up and dried up that you were laying in. But if you rebelled, there was this one chamber that was about maybe, I'd say 14 feet, 15 feet by maybe 25 feet. And it was just a chamber where there were no windows, nothing but a door that had a small opening in it. So automatically, you're going to be dehydrated, you're going to sweat. When you rebelled, they put you in there, not for a day, not for a week, and not for a month. Well, you say, well, it might have been bad, but at least maybe they survived. Not when you go in that chamber, which I heard some people call it unofficially the chamber of death. You know why? There were other people that rebelled. They were in there. They weren't fed. They weren't washed. They didn't get a chance to see no sunlight except that little hole right there. If they had malaria, oh well, the mosquitoes were coming to get you anyway in there. They left you there to die. You're dehydrated. You're not getting any food. They lock that door, and the only time they open it is to put somebody else in. If you were packed up on each other, or if there was a dead body there, laying there, you had to lay next to it or lay on it. Maybe if it was really packed up, they drag some of the dead bodies out, or drag a body they thought was dead but was on the verge of death but was so weak and so out of it, maybe unconscious. Toss them out wherever they tossed them out. At the same time, you were in the chamber of death. Listen up, Christians. They had a church in the slave dungeon. A church where the white folks went in to worship their God. That's the shit people need to recognize. Yes, indeed. So while your sisters were in there, I'm not going to say the F word, but while the man up top looking over the beautiful ocean, I have to say they were beautiful views. They were. And he took your sisters or grandparents or ancestors and went through in a different one every night. Now, if they made one do something so good, it's like, we got to have her again. But they ran through them. And they turn around and tell us, you're just as sick as we are. Look at you. You're gay, you're lesbian, you're this, you're molesters. Well, where do we get that from? Where do we get that from? All these practices and a direct connection to a certain spirit. If you go away for 2 weeks on a vacation righteously, and you as a woman run into a man that maybe you got together from the strong attraction, and you come back. After a while, I'm like, wait a second, your stomach, you putting on weight. Your boobies, what's going on? I didn't see the act committed, but the evidence is right there.
Exactly.
The act committed, but look at the evidence, what's happening in the present day.
Exactly.
We didn't do that. Like I said, with the one who is the victim of the pedophile, it's not your fault, and there's nothing wrong with you. But as an adult, with what's been passed down, nothing's wrong with us, and it's not our fault. But it's been done to us, and we wear their stuff on us. And we got work to clean up from it. And one of the best things is to get away from them. There's so many of us who are also inoculated with their sick spiritual soul ties. So you're going to have further isolation from them, because now it's on us. They gave it to us, but now it's on us. And we fail to realize that. We talk about, well, this happened and so and so, and well, that's over with. So if I, as a man, got a woman pregnant and she comes back later on, well, that was the past, it's over with. No, you got another mouth to feed, buddy.
That's right.
Get away with that. I gave in, but you ain't getting away with that. You're going to have to raise this. You wanted that pleasure? You have to earn your pleasure. That's a whole other topic. But these people, we were like sex slaves. So if they wanted that man, that African man, I'm going to say it raw. If they wanted that African man to suck a dick, he might not have known about that. Well, you're going to learn tonight. You're going to learn tonight. And I'll tell you at a time, you better swallow every drop. You know how that breaks, man? I'm not doing that. They might not understand it. They know he's saying this in his native language. He's not doing that.
Exactly.
And now, yes, you are. Or you going to die. Well, kill me. Kill me. Or I might lie and say I'm doing it. I'll kick it off. Put you in so much pain. Grab your knife and cut it off. But you said you were going to do it. I'm going to kill him. Well, you're going to bleed out on that one. You ain't going to do that to nobody else.
Yes, indeed.
That's why they don't want people that have some fire in their belly to get up on a place like YouTube and talk freely. So even in talking freely, like I told Brother Isa Muhammad, that, listen, we got to play that game strategically where the people are. I can come out here and get banned forever saying what I want to say. I'm not scared. It's strategy. It's being shrewd. I'm a tactician. I'm not the guy that come out there and swing for your head the first round and the second round I'm tired. We're going to break you down over the whole fight. And it might be a soft punch that I hit you with because you've taken an accumulation of blows. You see, in boxing, and Brother Isa Muhammad is a boxer, former boxer also. That's why we get along. Right? Nation of Islam. You know what I mean? So I'm privy to certain words that sometimes I can't repeat certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Out of respect to the people who share information with me. And they don't want me over here. That nigga Lance is in Africa talking that radical stuff. He's going against Memorandum 46. So why do you think I don't mind sometimes if I don't come out for the whole day? Why do you think I know that every pretty young thing that walks up to me and says, aren't you Lance Scurv? Oh my God, I can't believe I met you. Oh, here's my number.
Right.
What? Are you crazy? Walking up to you here and there out of nowhere. I don't know y'all. I'll greet you nice. But I can't let you in my world when you start asking me specific questions and where do you live and what? I don't know you. See, I got ways of checking people out where I'm all, okay, I'm cool with them. Because I'm a sneaky little bastard myself on a righteous level. Because this is life and this is death and this is strategy. And they don't you understand that we're targeted and marked for death? Nothing wrong with saying that because they can't say that I said anything wrong. I didn't speak about what they told me not to talk about.
Right.
So our distractions while we're in the warm water and we're in the warm water in the pot like the shrimp or the frog or the lobster. Say, man, this water feel good. This person who put me in this pot, they're real nice. You think so? Wait till the water gets higher.
It's high.
And turns up. So we're not going to notice the water going higher while we're watching the reality TV show that's an engineered reality to take us out of our own and from seeing what's happening in our reality. So we're distracted while the water's getting turned up. We're like sheep being led to slaughter. We're like that turkey that's being fed and fed. And he's like, oh, I got to fend for myself. They're feeding me. Yeah, get fat, turkey, because on what they call Thanksgiving, you're going to be in the middle of the table. They're going to be eating you up. You're going to be in somebody's refrigerator 3 a.m. They're going to be pulling from your leg and pulling from your breast and eating you. It is not nice. So when the slave master with those in the system and society give you something and we sell out, take the shot and get some donuts. Are you serious? Are you serious? Why is there on the TV? I mean, on the computer. Yeah. You ain't got to do it no more.
Yeah.
And you wonder why you can't make babies because you done jacked off so much, your sperm count is low. Tell it like it is.
Yeah.
There's a pleasurable aspect to sex. There's a mental aspect where we may pick up a few innocent little fetishes of what we may like and we don't like. I'm okay with that. But it is not just for pleasure. When we are being wiped out, we got people on this planet who are not of this planet. We got
I heard that today.
Or melanin deficient to the max. And you bump into them in the supermarket and they flirt with you, and 15 minutes later, they're down on you. Come on, brothers, you know, and I know many of you have been approached by them, and their husbands might be there. Y'all not from this planet. Why do you want my DNA? Why do you want my seed? What is it about
exactly.
me? Exactly. So much love, but you want to take from me, but then you want to kill me at the same time. And when you kill me, what the hell you think you're gonna do with my body? When you shoot us down in America and all over the world, and they prepare your body for the casket, and we speak about how well they did a good job. He or she looks so nice. They look the way they did in life. But you're not smart enough that before they bring that casket out, that you open that bad boy and open that shirt of the person that's deceased and see they ain't got no organs in them, or see things have been removed, or is never donate your body to science. Wow.
For real.
Science, what they know, they already know. They got technology out here that can do things you would not believe. I feel they're even suggesting things to you to do. You Google something on somebody else's computer and come home in the bed at night before you doze off and go look at a video, and the ads that come up are the same things you Googled by your friend's computer. How did it make the connection? They got us, man, in position. And a lot of us don't even know it. Why do I do this stuff day in and day out when I get phone calls the way I just did, like you heard? I didn't say, call me up around this time to make me look cool. Brother man is on point. Babylon is falling. Because he knows anybody I'm talking to know what time it is. And I let him know, listen, I said like you're live because I didn't want him to say anything sensitive.
Exactly.
Not that I would hold anything back. But he could have said something sensitive and later on, did you hear about LanceScurv? You know what I mean? I gotta be shrewd in this. And like I said, they ain't gonna get me with no cocaine. They ain't gonna get me no crime. They're gonna shout, I'm gonna go out a little while. There's gonna be somebody coming up to me that most people will refuse. And so I have to be shrewd with my mind, because maybe for me, it's a good thing our creator didn't. I mean, I always knew certain things. I was always a conspiracy theorist to so many people, but I'm glad I'm at this age now because I have a lot more control. If I knew this stuff, they would have been had me. If this was the case. And I wasn't dumb then, but like I said, I had a problem saying no.
Right.
But while you were in there and your sisters were getting screwed, and your brothers were getting screwed, they had to hear at the same time church songs inside. the slave dungeon. And white folks who weren't a part of that still came there. Because you think if you have cattle or sheep, the church service is going on, but go ahead, go down there. Take what you want. And the diseases that they have spread to us that weren't treated on a physical and mental. And this has become normalcy because imagine now, it wasn't like they just did this to you. Imagine, okay, I call it the Roots phenomenon. When Roots came out, what was it, about 76, 77?
76.
And 76, yeah. And the whole thing with slavery from beginning to end was neatly packaged within 5 days.
Can you imagine?
And they had commercials that you can get up and go to the bathroom and come back, and that's the way it was done then. So we think that, it was just this happened.
That was all it is. Yeah, exactly.
But could you imagine? And we know that the life expectancy back at that time wasn't what it was now. 60 something, 70 something, 80 something, depending on how you take care of yourself now too, and your genes and stuff. But say 35 was old age back in them days. You made it to 35. You were like, wow, you still living? Because of how rough things were and how some people didn't know how to deal. So with the trauma that we went through and how even today, what did they say? So many, was it 1 out of every 5? I don't want to say any numbers and throw anybody off because I don't know, but it was like a good percentage of Black men are going to be killed no matter who pulled the trigger. And the same with our sisters that may not have as extreme statistics that way, but are still on that board, but have to endure living in this place under great duress. But we're all in it. So imagine now that next generation who was born into the system of being in America. And from birth, they don't remember being free. Or some of your own set you up. You had no choice when you had a firearm pointed at you. Well, you had slaves too. It was a way of working off debt. See, they twist things around in American history, his story.
His story, yes.
To demonize what was there because they had no comprehension of what it was. And they had to have evil people over here before, of course. Not like that, though.
Not like that, though. No.
We went into the slave dungeons and saw the big map of Africa, Al-Kebulon, and the routes they took to go from here to there, and over the years, how some of the routes changed. I'm like, this was a daggone network. This wasn't some 5 days a week thing like Roots made it seem. This went on for hundreds of years, and the Arabs had it before they did. For what, about 1,000 years or more?
Yeah.
So if we can't even take the trauma, you're walking down the street with your friend and somebody shoots them in the head and their blood is on you and they fall and drop down and drive off. That's traumatic. And you walk with that your whole life. Nightmares messed you up. Imagine trauma like that every single day, whether it happened to you or somebody that's close to you, somebody getting raped, beat, killed. That's what was normalcy for us.
Yes, that's embedded in you, yes.
That is in your DNA now. So when the cops pull up behind you, you know you can probably whip both of them down with no problem, but they have the so-called engineered authority and a gun that you may not have. And so while another white person, they'll have a gun in the front that's not licensed and, it's not licensed. Don't worry about it, buddy. I'll take this and I'm going to get rid of this, whatever. You think they're going to do that for me? They'll see the gun and just shoot me.
Shoot you.
That's a possibility.
That's right.
I always, and look, when I was beat by them 11 cops, I knew I was out of here. In my mind, I didn't accept that, but they wanted me to hit one of them back. That's why they escalated the situation. And even as they beat me, it was a strength to not do anything back. I had to show control because I knew what they wanted. That's why my whole life, I'm going back at them and anybody who's like them. If I was a superhero, that would be my origin. How did he get to be the way he is? There are other things that happened, but that was the humdinger right there. That humdinger right there. You grab it by the lips You punched me in the face. You got me in the chokehold that killed people. Longer than I think the creator had a strong neck. You should break my fingers off. And now you calling me nigga. I'm delusional, delirious, and just standing there, just beat down, man. From having a regular face to having rocky eyes. Remember his eyes were almost closed?
Yeah.
I went from that to that. I'm gonna find them pictures too. And the pictures were taken 3 days after when I came home. And my face was still effed up. And I'm gonna sit here and, oh well, that was the past. Like many people tell people who are the victims of pedophilia. Oh, the Lord, so and so. The Lord, the shepherd. And I'm a sheep? No, I'm not no damn sheep. I'm a revolutionary, and we can all be revolutionaries in different ways now. You can have that quiet woman who works in the system with them, and she's revolutionary in the information she shares discreetly. It doesn't always mean you have to have a loud mouth and be up on YouTube ranting. No.
That's right.
You can be a quiet revolutionary.
That's
we need
right.
those. We need all
they have that saying, right? Walk softly, but carry a big stick.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes you know what I mean? You don't have to parade it, but
that's right.
Make sure you have a big stick.
But could you imagine that what happened to us, and you might have just finished getting raped and beat unconscious, and you're hearing church songs and told that the Lord was going to come and save you.
That's why some of these, when for those of you who are still in church, I told Brother Lance last night, after the show ended, we talked for a few minutes and then we got off the StreamYard. As soon as we got off the StreamYard, my iTunes came up. My iTunes was already going. I didn't know. And what was on there? A church song from like 10 years ago. A church song. I was like, what the hell what is happening here? And it was there. I mean, I guess it was going for quite a while. And this particular one, I was like, oh shit. So what I'm saying is that you just made that comment about, hearing the singing in the church below or above or wherever. When and I said it before, when we hear some of these songs that they sing and we get caught up in these gut-wrenching, I'm a wretch and I'm a this and I'm a that, stop singing it. Stop saying it, because it's not meant for you. It's not meant for us. We're not wretches. A wretch is what we're talking about right now that did those horrible things to us. And when they come to recognize that they have done some abominable things and they're trying to change, they're crying out to their God to save them from being such a fucking wretch. So stop singing it. Stop singing it. It's not you.
Did it save us when we were there hearing it as the acts were performed?
No. That's why we have to stop singing it. No.
That's right. Because that's a certain energy. And we sing these songs all during the week.
Why you gonna call yourself a wretch?
On our lives, on our minds, on our movement. That anytime we have something of our own that is original, that is diametrically opposed to their narrative, they have to investigate and whatever. No, I investigate. You can look at you all you want.
Exactly.
I'm so happy that I made it through. Not just a matter of coming to Africa, because you got confusion, you have corruption, you got scandals here. But I know why I'm here. So I can continue to do what I do without being so close to them. And they got them here now. Agents and informants, like me and Sister Lazia, 75, the Black Unicorn, say the Nigger Federation.
Yeah.
The Nigger Federation. And so I'm a righteous shapeshifter. You want to clock me, you're going to frustrate yourself. Because just when you think you got me, I'm gone. You don't know where I am. And that is a serious life of isolation. I'm not overblowing what I do. I'm not saying I'm a human being, but I'm just saying if I was stupid, I would have been gone. As far as like shut down in silence. But I'm playing the game too.
You are. We are.
We'll have some shows that are just comedy. Oh yeah, well, he can't be that bad because look, he's talking that low vibrational stuff.
Okay.
No,
think again. Think again.
I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do. You think that's what I am just because I tell old sex stories?
Think again. Think again. Think
because
again.
The fact of the matter is, I can do a lot of things in that industry, not participating in it necessarily. But I know people in the industry and I can make a whole lot of money, but that's not what I do. I can build sex websites and have visuals and pictures. These women out here and want money so bad, and some who do prostitution, but who would love to have somebody to set up a live cam situation. What? You know how much millions I get? Because there wouldn't be no middleman. I know how to do the website. I know how to set up the stuff. I got the equipment to do that now. I ain't doing that.
No.
You got some sisters out here who got bodies you wouldn't believe. Sometimes this revolutionary shit is not lucrative enough. And it takes passion. It takes, I can't do anything else other than what I'm doing. I'm still affected by the things that have happened to me. What my older female cousin did and get me to do them things on her, that pales in comparison.
Oh man.
And I even forgive her. Because what did she have to go through? What was passed down from the lineage of the slave master, that soul tie, that generational so-called curse that they say with Christians? I forgive her.
Exactly.
I'm not saying forgive everybody. You know what I mean?
Well, now I just said exactly, and I just realized what you just said because I was reading the chat. Don't forgive nobody. Don't forgive nobody.
No. But I mean, I'm not saying forgive like it's all good and I accept what you did. What I mean is that she's gonna face her own karma. There's nothing more I have to do. I'm just so glad that I wasn't traumatized in a way that if it was some man or I was beat down or something like that, which doesn't make what she did any less. But I was protected where I wasn't affected more. And
that's true.
When I ran with promiscuity the way I did on the level that I did, and me not ever catching a disease or what, and it's not just that, but the mental effects, right? But I'm still intact.
Right.
Because what I did in them younger years, risking diseases, like I said, it's like running outside 50 feet away from your house, turning around and running back, and you come back with not a drop of water on you.
Right.
So I know I'm protected for something. But what I'm saying in the whole scheme of things, the overall scheme of things, how it didn't affect me and how I know how this world has done us. I'm not saying any man gets you or whatever, and you know. And our men should know better. But what I'm saying is that look at the overall hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years where when I brought up about the life expectancy, let's just say it was 35 years old.
Right.
And we say 400 years. It could be more, it could be less. Let's just round it off and say 350 to make it fit right? 35 years and 350. That's 10 generations. So the second, third, fourth, fifth them people, our brothers and sisters, were born into this. That was the order of things. It wasn't like this. So they grew up warped. They grew up with people who had fear in them. We had revolutionaries, but that's the way it's done.
That's right.
If in today's, look, there was a woman who told me, she's my exact age, and I think her birthday is a few months after mine, but we're the exact age, more or less. And this was in Orlando. And something about me, she was fascinated with, because there was a local newspaper that would run my articles. One of them free newspapers, but it was all over the place. And she told me, she says, I would always read this. And I looked in the beginning and it said by Lance Skirvin. That's your last name, right? Oh my God. You right? I'm like, yeah, I'm not just a bus driver. It's in the paper. So now all of a sudden I'm elevated but this was a
right.
But what I'm saying is that the effect is, if we're on the white media, you're somebody because you're
validated.
Right. But that's why I leave that clip up on the Dr. Drew show. That's an old clip. But people who are sick with that, he was on the show. He must be somebody. Right. I know I'm somebody. We all are somebody. But I know marketing wise how the black mind works. You see what I mean? So now she started reading stuff and she saw how I was one of those troublemaking Negroes. She was born and raised in Alabama and she lived in Orlando. And she told me sincerely, she didn't even know how she came off. I'm not mad at her, but she said, Lance, you have to be careful out here with the things that you're writing because you're driving this bus and you're a target and somebody can sit off in the bushes. And I said, I know that. I said, but I'm protected. See, you say the whole Christian thing, we're protected by the Lord, but I can't be protected because I'm not there. And if you have the biggest, baddest entity, creative force in the world that made everything, why are you scared? Because that's an insult to him. I say him like a masculine, but him, her, whatever the balance is. Let's not nitpick
to them.
You got so much backup and you walking scared. And she told me, my daddy taught me that if I see a bunch of white people talking and I have to say something to one of them, don't stand there and stare. Stand off 10 feet and look at the ground until they call you.
Oh, God, help us.
This could be anybody, any one of them. You must show them that type of reverence and respect. And I looked at her, I pulled the bus over.
Cold day in hell.
He taught you this? So this stuff is not something for some old slave movie. There are people running around today that they will smile when they hear the revolutionary, and deep down, this guy's going to get us in trouble. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So they're going to run back to their hierarchy. Well, boss man, I know you saw me standing next to him. I just want to let you know I ain't got nothing to do with him. I ain't got nothing, I don't want no trouble. And there was a corporal in the facility when I worked in Orange County Corrections that whenever we're having a discussion and another white supervisor, sergeant, lieutenant, or captain was walking down the hall, well, we got to stop this now because, we don't want no trouble. You damn coon. And he would talk revolutionary. I'm not saying you're going to be dumb and run up on them and talking that talk. You ain't going to have no job. I understand that. But why are you scared like that? I'm not scared. We're having a sensible, valued conversation on something real. They saw my pictures that I drew. They saw the things that I write. That's why I ain't working there no more. The Klan is all up in the top. They'll hire supervisors that look like me and you, but they back there pulling the strings. All through Florida, but especially Central Florida, back in the day, Google and research. When you got pulled over most often back in them days, earlier on, you were killed. If you were caught by cops and it was a dark, lonely road, that's a wrap, buddy. Unless you were an information gatherer or an agent for them, or completely sold out, and that's how you can tell. You didn't get the treatment that others got. They gave you a slap on the wrist and I'll see you later. Do you have anything for me?
Right.
You heard that before?
Exactly.
What you got for me? That's what cops used to say. And you had to sell somebody else. So all through your day, you were looking as an extended arm for them. Now, if they went 3 times and they said, what you got for me? And you don't have nothing. Second time, what you got for me? Third time, you lose rank and you just another nigga. So you better go and always have something to share, and you might not want to tell it right away because you want to extend your way to move about. Why are you going out there driving so late? You know them police officers out there, and you know they're gonna do something. No, I'll go. I'll be all right. I'll take a chance. And nothing ever happens to you? We know who you are.
Yeah.
So you're born into this, and it becomes normal. So you start to adopt these terminologies. Girl, your hair nappy. We braiding hair. And the other sister over there who's a little lighter in complexion and who has a more limp bit of hair. I'm tired of calling this nappy hair. Why couldn't you come out and have good hair? Little girls subjected to that in slavery, been raped and used, called darky, chocolate, ugly because of the complexion.
Can you imagine?
But really deep down, they know the real deal. You're beautiful. You're
right.
melanin. Ain't nothing like it. When you love it, then you treat it with respect and you love it and whatever. And so many of I'm not going to get on that rant again. I went on there yesterday because I'm very passionate about that. And you're going to call your sister a bitch?
Bitch. No.
You're going to be a man on YouTube talking righteous that you don't see on this platform no more. And you're going to say the F word to your sister and turn people against her when she would have given your life for you?
Oh, man.
Anybody following you is either twisted or they just don't know.
Traitors.
So I'll walk alone first. If there's nobody with me, you don't have to like what I do. You don't have to. This is no cult. This is no whatever. I'll be speaking the same way for the same amount of time. If there was one person in the live stream, I would do it.
I know you would.
Do what I do. Like I told you, go dig deep to them first videos. They got 3 hits. 3 hits.
And guess 2 of them was yours.
2 of them was me checking to see if I got a hit. And the other one was somebody that passed through by mistake.
I do that. I think I make up the majority of the hits we get on this.
So I made up my mind. I'm going to out there. I don't pay no mind.
I make up the majority because I must check. I must check about 20 times a day.
So you're the one pushing the algorithm up.
I'm the one pushing the algorithms. Somebody got to do it.
But just think about the things that we've adopted as normalcy. And again, like you say, those who may, you better find you a light-skinned man, or, they don't say white man, but they pretty much, because they're stepping up. And all through South America, the Caribbean, that's the mentality. We bleaching our skin and straightening our hair. Look, be who you are. They don't want you to be who you are. This is why in schools now they're cutting you. They don't want locks. It's not just a fashion statement that they don't like. They don't like the collective power of it. On I'm not going to say on the highest level because that's this demonic system, but on the more elusive levels of what they want to share with the world, there are books written, hidden under the Vatican. There's knowledge that some people are privy to, and it's always about us. And we don't know who we are.
We're sneaking out now.
We got pieces of the puzzle.
The people in the know are sneaking that information out, not in small increments, but it's coming out. It's coming out.
Yeah. And like Riri said, ever notice the air of high yellow women passing for white black women were with Indian looking men.
Yeah, and that's true.
They have that, they throw off on you and look at you like you're inferior. They adopt the mindset of that until they have, like Paul Mooney said, their nigga wake up call. And you're a threat to them when they see how proud you are of your blackness. Well, Lance, I'm indigenous. I'm not black. I'm not African. Psychosis too, right? Just because a man who's a cross-dresser puts on a dress and stilettos and a wig and makeup, that don't make him no woman.
Yeah, exactly.
I can jump in a flower pot, and stand there naked with leaves on my head. That don't make me no plant. They push this confusion. I know who I am. And the cross-dressers all my life and all of our lives every single day, especially when you're that strongly rooted plant that's coming up. They don't like it. It must be chopped down. They can't chop you down. They're going to discredit you. Smear your name. I done told my church, how you going to smear me? I got all kinds of naked pictures out there in the world, but I was taking pictures doing this tripping. So what? You can't tell me that everybody in this chat room didn't have an orgasm last night. Somebody did.
It wasn't me.
We're human. We do things. We're not in a little consciousness, or now we're higher, but we weren't as high before. We did things we came up in the world, man. Things we did that we're not proud of, but we did it. And some of us not really open. No, you don't have to. It's okay. I'll tell you mine. If it's similar, you'll be like, oh, damn.
Is he breaking up for everybody else? Is Lance breaking up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cutting up. Yeah.
This nigga has been on the show for 3 hours and 19 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. They told me I had to do this 10 hours a day straight. Easy work. Work. It ain't work. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Peace. She talked about artwork.
Lance.
Yeah.
They really can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming for us. So we'll wrap it down now because we I think we put a little work in because we're definitely gonna come back on later on. I have other footage to do, and we'll come back.
Oh yeah, now you see that we're gonna wrap it down. You sound perfect. Like they've accomplished their end. No. Yeah. So the passion is real.
Right. It ain't
the
gonna stop.
passion is real. It ain't gonna stop.
That's right.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's right. It's like when, say for example, you have a wedding to go to, and it's on that Saturday, and you forget. You got the outfit. You got yourself prepared. Whatever style of hair you're doing. I ain't knocking nobody. I mean, everybody ain't got locks. I understand that. I'm not knocking you. We've been through a lot. I understand. It's going to take sometimes a couple of generations to come out of certain things. But you got this to go to, and you know you want to look pristine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're celebrating yourself, and you're putting your best foot forward to look good.
Right.
Friday night comes, and you can't resist the temptation. Your family, somebody in your family, went and bought a whole bunch of Dunkin' Donuts. And you peek in the box and realize there's so much donuts in there, but I think they ate all they wanted to eat. So you check with them. This is your box of donuts? Yeah, go ahead. Eat as much as you want. I'm through with it. And you take one, being polite. You go and do something else, another 2 hours. It's like sucking out your teeth. A piece of donut still in there. That's sweet. Let me go back and get another one. So you go get more. Now it's an all-out assault. You go get the almond milk or whatever it is you drink. I ain't gonna push dairy, but you get the almond milk and sit down. Now you got 6 more sitting there, forgetting that you have this wedding to go to. Now it's not gonna make you fat overnight, but you wake up in the morning and
you're bloated.
Big ass pimple.
Okay, where did he go? Brother Lance?
Yeah. For some reason it cut off and muted. We're gonna end this. I'm gonna tell this one little last story. You get that one little pimple right in the crease of your nostril. You can't even pop it right. But you don't want to pop it. You'd pop it if you had nothing to do that was like so nice, but you're gonna be on pictures. What I mean to say by saying it this way, that even if you pop that pimple and can dry it up where it's not seen, your system
is still jacked up.
And if you pop that pimple and want to make it go away, your sin with the donuts is going to reveal itself sooner or later. So every time you have a society like ours, there will be those who are revolutionary who come up from a corrupt system. So you killed Malcolm X, but so many came like him from what he did in his life.
Yes.
So whether it's through writing or artwork or YouTube shows or walking in the street with my camera, you can't, when I expire, hopefully I left enough of a footprint in my own way. And that's what I want everybody to do.
Your influence.
that if you sit in the doctor's office, the waiting room, and there's a woman or man there with their child, you can't dictate to the child how they should think and come at them. They aren't going to understand you. But be kind and drop something that they can understand, that later on they say, I remember when I was 4 years old and this man said this to me. Now I know what he meant. And that will connect with something else, hopefully, and something else and something else. And it'll be one of the bricks in the building that you have become. But you have to be that cornerstone to influence. And you can't come the same way. You have to adjust it.
Right.
If you're on a corner with some dude who he may know how to read and write, but he can't comprehend because he's in his lower vibrational self. You can't come at him too high. It goes right over his head like an airplane. You know, when you're laying in bed, if you are in the flight path of a plane, you know how many heavy behind planes fly over your head that can come down and crush you, crush your house?
I think about that all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So just think how many things are around us. We talk about, well, we see everything. No, you don't. You got 5G, 4G, 3G, all up in your body, passing through you. So if you can see that, what about the unseen forces that are around us that are evil? We got good too, but there's unseen things in people that we don't see. Oh, I don't believe in that stuff. Oh, but you believe in a 5G signal that you can't see, but it's bringing you information at the click of a button so fast. You believe that, see it.
Exactly.
But you see the result of it. So you tell me that there's no evil signal and force in the world, but I see evil at the end of it and twisted things, the pedophiles, the murderers, the people who lose their mind and freak out. There's something at work that you don't see to motivate those that you see to do things that are just unimaginable. Use your logic. So we all catching signals. But if our mind is strong enough, we can defeat how it affects us. But you can't unless you acknowledge it being there. We download stuff. It's not always through the book.
Right.
But we download information. What do you think what they call the animals do? We are animals in a sense, but we're supposed to be the highest thinking.
Highest level.
Just because your car can go to 200 miles an hour, you might not go more than 50 miles an hour. Just because we have the capacity for brilliance, a lot of us don't want to accept the challenge of living and implementing and bringing into fruition our full potential. You got potential and you feel good. No, that don't mean nothing. It means you can possibly do this. Are you woman or man enough to go and sacrifice to do this? 13 minutes before this show started, I was sleeping and got a phone call. And if that phone wasn't on my arm vibrating, I grabbed it. I looked at the time, 13 minutes before the show started. See? So I did what I did.
Yeah.
Commitment. Ain't no pretending we have the potential to have a wonderful show. I took one scoop of oatmeal. It's right here. You can't see it. You want to hit a pot? Right here.
You're a mess.
Yeah. I got raisins to put inside. You know that sounds like cardboard because it's in the raisin box. I got cinnamon right here.
Well, lucky you, Brother Lance.
Say it again.
Lucky you. Lucky you. I don't have no porridge.
It's some cold porridge, but that's okay. I'm going to eat that first like I do every morning. I'll eat some other things later on, but this is the beginning of my day. That's why I say on another level, you have to have yourself to yourself. Get what you got to get done for you first.
That's right. That's right.
I woke up on fire because I knew that was in me. We committed. I made the link last night. You might be surprised. Bling, bling. He made this link early. And
I know.
We still did a show last night. And how long was that show?
4 hours.
Last night?
4 hours? Was it 4 or 2?
A little over 2.
I can't remember.
It don't matter though. We're going to do it anyway. And today, what did I say? Well, I might have run out, so we'll keep it down to an hour and a half. Well, hell,
no, we're at
3 hours and a half.
Yes, indeed.
And people say sometimes, well, Lawrence, your videos are too long. You can get more hits if you break it down. I'm not interested in hits. I just don't want to break the flow. You can pause and be like, okay, I stopped at the 1 hour mark. I'll go back later on. But it's my job to keep stuff going. Yes. So when Brother Isa Muhammad comes on and look at his spirit. He didn't rehearse for that. I didn't know he was going to call me. He probably didn't even know he was going to call me.
Right.
Just on a whim, I said, brother, you're live. Everybody's listening to you. You know, not to say, you know, I know you're going to talk about that chick you had last night. No, is that he may say something that where they really make sure that this ain't going to happen no more. So, you know, look how off the jump he said it was like a show. It's like he was planning for a show. But he is that. He lives that. He does that. He's written several books. He's been around people. He knows people. He talks with the Minister Farrakhan frequently. They know each other.
Right.
I'm not bragging on him like that, but that's what it is. Before I left Orlando, I'll tell you this much. After Akbar, who's the second in command, who came there, like, brother, I like what you're doing. Others would say it's a small thing, but I see your body of work, and you have some shows here that are quite comical. You know what I mean? But we understand what you're doing. The next time the minister is in Orlando, we're going to make sure that he comes in this little bedroom that you turned into a studio to talk to the people, because that's how he is. I was gone before that happened. But with what we're doing here, if it ever happens, and I'm blessed, he will be here. I'm not saying that we talk that, but it's going to happen. Right. I move forward with what I do. Sometimes you're seen and sometimes you're not seen. Sometimes you get more hits here. I'm just following my journey. You know? I mean, we listen to people they call stars. Just pick one. Who? I mean, okay, well, we know that.
I can't even think of one right now. Yeah.
But let's just talk about, and I'm not saying these people are stars, like I look up to them. Let's just say what the world in the Illuminati way says is a star. The engineer, so let's just say Jay-Z.
Right.
He's not always in a suit in front of crowds with cameras. He might be on a toilet bowl right now with a bad case of diarrhea. Why do we think these people live these lives that they don't have things, like they know better than anybody else?
They live the same as we do. Exactly.
They're a star. And we imagine this thing. Just the same way people put it out on YouTube that they live these lives and it's nowhere near reality.
For
real.
If
I tell you, wow, you donated, it really helped a whole lot because I had to get this and my budget was this or this or that. Or I was sleeping 13 minutes before the show. That's real.
That's real.
And while you were talking, I muted the thing and ran to the bathroom real quick. You didn't know that.
Boy,
you know when you wake up in the morning or the first
time. Boy. Exactly. Well, I did, because you told me to go ahead and greet everyone. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was slick with it. That wasn't a long greeting anyway, too.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So
I said, how many people were there at that time? I said, it's real quick. And yes, I did wash my hands afterward. I had enough time. So anyway, and that's why we can't
I already know that you washed your teeth up. You washed your face and brushed your teeth. I already know that. Yes.
Wash my teeth and brush my face. I know.
Wash your face, exactly. I know that all of that was done.
Hallelujah.
Oh, Peace. Really, Miss Peace? Hey, I have some in my freezer. I need to make it. As a matter of fact, Miss Peace, you just gave me a good idea. I think I'll make it after the show. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Queen Marat Rogers, thank you so much.
With some hard-o bread, but it's not spelt bread. I'm sorry. Regular hard-o bread. Yeah,
been some spelt flour dumplings the last few
days. I know.
But sister, I am a guest on your show, so when you can, say your words.
I can wrap it down.
Yes.
I love you too, Sister Queen Murat Rogers.
Yes, bars with us. Go ahead.
Say it again.
You said you're going to wrap it down. I didn't know if you were dropping that.
Oh, I was going to spit some bars. Oh, God, listen, you want the people on your platform to stay on your platform, right? You want your subscribers to stay, right?
Oh no, they'll recruit more people when they hear how talented you are.
They'll be like, "Oh my God, the kazoo started." Who's playing the kazoo? Oh God, please tune up. Anyways, I am so crazy, but that's okay. Listen, family, I know we're laughing at the end of this, and it's a very serious topic. And, we always go around and come right back to center, or to, 12 o'clock straight up. But what we need to really start doing, and for the most part, our younger generation people are not taking any bullshit anymore. So they're speaking up, and more of us need to speak up. I'm not saying it in the same way that our family members would say it to us, as far as what's in the past is in the past. Or there are things that we really can't go back and fix. We just have to find a way to acknowledge what was done to us and heal from what was done to us in our own way. One of the ways that I read in a psychology book, as much as I was never a fan of psychology, it's amazing how I like it now. But when I was in school, I didn't care too much for it. But maybe because I was a private person and they wanted me to, tell my business as part of the curriculum. But anyways, one of the things that is really helpful is writing letters to the person that offended you, that violated you. Write out, how it made you feel. Pour all of yourself into that letter. I mean, you're never going to be able to give it to the individual because they're probably no longer on this plane, but write it out. Because here's the thing, here's the kicker. And some may agree with me, some may not. The family members that come after this individual, they have nothing to do with what that person did to you or how they violated you. So sometimes when we choose to spill it and spill our guts and put it out there, we're hurting more than just that person, especially if they're no longer here. Because they're not on this plane to, take the blame and take responsibility for what they did. So we have to find a way to do whatever it is that we need to do to heal ourselves. Like I said, writing letters works. Write it, burn it, save it, flush it down the toilet, do whatever you want to do with it. But get those emotions out and purge yourself. It works. And in other cases where you can speak about it and bring that person to justice and let it be known that, you're being violated or whatever. And parents, for God's sake, listen to your children. Listen to your children, boy or girl. Don't be quick to say you're lying. Don't be quick to say, get away from me, that's rubbish. Because you don't have the mental capacity to deal with certain things on a mature level. Listen to your children, talk to them, find out if, because sometimes children have vivid imaginations. We know that. Make sure you know that it's real and it's not imagined, but don't discount what your child is saying to you. Heal from it, bring out what can be brought out. And bring people to justice where it can be brought to justice. Yes,
so
brother.
True. Yes.
And on that note, let me thank Brother Lance once
I'm always
again
going to be here with you on your beautiful show. You know that.
For bringing the fire, as he always does. And all of you in the chat for being such wonderful, wonderful, wonderful family members and friends. Love you all. Love you all. Love you all. Yes, go out there, make it a good day, and hopefully we'll see each other again later.
A couple of hours.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
You're ride or
welcome,
die.
sir.
And Just
you
grateful.
you better know it. You better know it.
We all gonna ride. It's not gonna be a die thing. We transition.
There's no die, right? You better know it.
You know?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All righty. Take care.
I will talk to you later on, everybody. We'll be back later on. We're gonna bring it. I don't know how long it's gonna be. 10 hours, 5 hours, 2 days. I don't know, but we're never gonna stop. We promise. Much love to you. So long.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So, my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes, slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man. So he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise. On his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.
Sun is rising, feel the warmth of my face. It's a lot to do now, but there ain't no race. I sip my coffee, I'm feeling fine. Don't need to work yet, I'm gonna take my time. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. Take a look out my window, see the birds in the trees. Their songs inspire me to sing a sweet melody. How do they do it? Not a care and so free. Wanna step into their world, who holds the key? It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way.